Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. It is Friday. Sam is here. Butler is here. I'm excited. The weather this weekend is supposed to, well, it depends on what you like.
Right.
I like it hot, so this is going to be a change, but I'm going to go into it with a positive attitude. High of like, what, 65?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at. So, I'm going to go into it, put a sweatshirt on, brave it, have fun. But yeah, we're easing ourselves into what should be a glorious weekend.
It'll be hot again. Don't worry. You know,
It'll come back.
You can always count on that.
We got our Florida winter is pretty short.
I like that.
It always happens the week of my anniversary trip, so it's always freezing.
Yeah,
that's weird. You have gotten, and Tom said something just now that I enjoyed that. You gave me almost like a grandpaism. You gave me like a little, you're like, it'll be hot again. Don't worry about it. You know, like you gave me like, you're becoming, and it's a very attractive trait.
Old grandpa?
Yeah.
No. That's not what I'm saying. It's a very attractive trait that I believe you're picking up. I'm not doing a very good job with it. But you are easing yourself into becoming like an actual real cookie cutter chef's kiss of a dad. I mean, that's a really good
I want to
yeah,
be
it's like
that?
well, like one of the, it's like it reminded me of the way that you said it and how quick it fell off your tongue was as if you had said working hard or hardly working. You know, it's like
Yeah.
And I like that. There's something very comforting about this. I'm trying to pay you a compliment without you taking it down the negative road of, are you calling me an old man? No, that's not what I'm saying.
I think it's you move into or you transition into where you just say things because you're like, well, I have to say something
right
in this conversation, but you're just saying some sort of saying
to move it on.
Because you don't want to concentrate on actually having a conversation.
So is it like a grandpa yes and?
It's kind of a low-key dismissal.
All right. I like the negative.
It's I don't want to talk.
Right.
But I just say small talk, but it's not even small talk. It's
but I honestly
say
didn't get that vibe from what you said.
Yeah, but that's when it's good.
But that's because
so
what you're
he's
saying,
so good at it, you didn't even recognize
that makes sense because you are a true young grandpa master. All right, that makes sense.
It's just a regular dad. It's just like, I don't know.
It's a dadism.
Yeah.
You're just you've fallen into. All right, this is it. Like this sounds bad, but it's not that bad.
Like I did one yesterday.
This is it. Can be good.
Yeah, I did one yesterday with Maisie, who looked at me and Andrea, and there was another mom standing there picking her up, and she says, "I'm thirsty," and I go, "Hi, thirsty. I'm Daddy."
God, my dad used to say that.
I mean, I'm just
he'd be like, "I'm Franny."
Well, that's a classic. What I went with there is a classic. Tom has obviously rolled his eyes. He's far more advanced.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm paying him a compliment. He knows how to do this better. He's the fun dad. I am not the fun dad. I am the punisher. I'm the heavy.
Wow.
No, I am. You know this. We've talked about it in the house.
Yeah.
Andrea is fun. She takes Tom's role. I am not that guy. I'm the, hey, what are you doing? Stop doing that. Get off of there. I'm that guy. And it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Well, then
it's
just wild. Somebody has to have law and order.
Maisie.
I'm the Buford Pusser of our house.
I'm not joking.
Walking tall, walking small.
If you just stopped everything as far as parenting, Maisie be fun. Like she's already got enough.
You think?
Yeah.
There is a cutoff where they say there's a fact.
It's like you put enough gas in her tank, it'll get her there.
Yeah.
She's already there.
I mean, I just got to get her to like what, 14? I think. What's the legal age?
No, dude, I'm telling you.
Legal age of what?
I like not knowing. There are people that actually believe that I was being serious there. Uh-huh. You know that.
Yeah.
I will get an email.
Just like how we interviewed Alex Trebek.
I got an email about that.
Yeah.
Too.
So you've instilled enough. She's got enough independence and smarts, and
she'll figure it out.
Yeah, she got it.
Okay.
She's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
You
Fair
could
enough.
just go to being fun dad. She's already good.
I think by second grade, you can just write it off.
No,
for her.
No, I don't have long.
You only got a couple more years left.
Yeah.
But shit, the part I'm neglecting to tell you guys, she won't want to have anything to do with me. She's
so independent.
I can't do anything
You got to
about
rebel
that.
against the dad, of course.
Yeah, I can't do anything about
girl
that.
does that.
She'll be. She'll do too well in high school because of you and Andrea and how much Andrea loves school. So she'll be taking college courses in high school,
like her mom, a nerd. She'll be a nerd.
And then she'll already have a full scholarship, some school like out of state.
But that's good because I'll be dead early,
and
I won't get to see any. Well, she better do that.
Be out of the house at 17 and a half.
Well, she better because
she might emancipate herself in her teens. We don't know.
Oh, like a Drew Barrymore scenario.
Or Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, but the Drew Barrymore very promiscuous.
A
lot of tattoos on the old pubic areas. I don't know about that. You want to do some emails and voicemails?
Yes.
We're going to bounce off of pubic areas right to emails and voicemails. If you want to send the show an email, show@tomandan.com. If you want to leave us a voicemail message, you can do so by calling 1-844-TOM, the letter N, DAN, 1-844-TOM and Dan. You can also text that number.
Yep.
There are tons of ways to get in touch with our program. Why don't you touch on that for a second while I dig up these files?
If you want to text the number, you can't just text it. You got to text BDM first, and that opts you in.
You have to opt in. We don't want to be a pain in your ass.
Yeah. So then once you text just BDM to our show number, then you're opted in. Then you could text us freely, and then you'll receive show announcements or texts from us, when we want to tell you something. But that's another way to contact us. If you want to,
Indeed. All right. This is going to go down as my ACT voicemail of the week, and it just came in like literally 3 minutes ago.
Hot off the voicemail
this
presses.
one is still got some melted butter on it.
All right.
Oh, hold on.
No.
I love it for it. It's going to be good, guys.
There's nothing that Tom likes more than that. No, hold on. Here we go.
Hey, guys. Bubble Bath Billy here. So I've got a story. I know this guy. He's in his early to mid-20s. He's not super Christian, but he grew up in a Christian household and schooling. So he's never had sex. He's not necessarily, I guess, saving himself for marriage, but at least wants to be in a committed relationship, or at least that was kind of his plan, through his teens. Now he's dating this girl who is, quote unquote, I guess, a born again Christian. And she is super abstinent. So she doesn't want to have sex at all until they get married. She's committed to that. He knows that. The thing is, though, before she, I guess, came to Jesus, she was kind of crazy before and had sex with guys and partied and all that stuff. And anytime, we're drinking,
Crazy.
she'll readily talk about the fact that she's had sex before, and he just always sits there kind of awkwardly. And if you ask him, he would say, yeah, I would have sex with her right now. They're engaged. They're planning to get married. So he wants to have sex, and she's like, no, we're not having sex. I'm going to make you wait till marriage. But he has to sit here and listen to all these stories and know that he knows that his girl has hooked up with guys in the past, not too distant past, even.
So what?
I just think that is the most shitty situation. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on it. If you're both virgins and you're both waiting for marriage, whatever, more power to you. But for the guy to be like, yeah, I want to have sex with her, but he's a virgin, he's never gotten to do it, and she's like, nope, making you wait till marriage, I've already banged dudes. That just must suck. It must make you feel pretty shitty. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's their business, and saving yourself for marriage. I mean, my wife was a virgin when I met her. We've talked about that before. But it is in poor taste, I believe, for that particular gal. I'd have to be there. If she's
why are they talking about it so much? That's weird to me.
That is weird.
But so what if she had a past and she decided that she doesn't want to?
Well, I don't think
wants to change.
That's
her
not the
lifestyle.
argument. That's not the argument. The argument is not about that at all. That's fine.
Yeah, well, he called her crazy because she had sex before and went to parties.
No. Yeah, I think you're reading too far into it.
Okay, maybe I am.
Yeah, I think you are. The issue is not that she has a past. The issue is that she's telling her past to a guy that really wants to have sex with her, and she's sitting here talking about, oh, yeah, I did this, and I did this, that,
well, we
and the
don't
other
know
thing.
that either. That's what I'm saying. I need to know the context of when and why and how she's talking about it.
All we can go on is what the voicemail guy said,
Right.
right? So let's just go on that. That's all we got. But I'm just saying that is in poor taste. And
Can't
if
the guy ask her to stop talking about it?
That's
if it
what
makes
I
him
would
uncomfortable?
do. That's what I would do. I'd say, yeah, you got to ease up on that. You got to shut
and
up.
you're going to marry her, you might as well be honest with her that it makes you uncomfortable.
You got to shut up with the sex talk. You can't be doing that to all of our friends. You're making me too horny, and I want to have sex with you.
Right.
Dude,
Be honest. Yeah.
Well, we could all agree that this will never last, right? I bet a lot of money against the marriage lasting more than 5 years. Probably.
Yeah, that's dysfunctional.
$3,500.
Now, again, to go back to the only thing that we know is Bubble Bath Billy telling us this, right?
Right.
And he says that's got to be the essiest situation. Okay, maybe it is.
But he's choosing to be in it.
Or maybe they are so comfortable with the way that they talk, and maybe he knows these stories up, down one side and down the other, that it does not bother him. So in that case, it's none of your business.
And he decided to propose to her knowing her past, so that he made that decision.
That would make you uncomfortable, wouldn't it?
What?
It would make me very uncomfortable.
Well, not having sex until you're married. I've seen one instance where I knew this guy and he was like a born again Christian and he had a party lifestyle before.
Oh, that happens a lot.
Born again Christian.
I think we all know those guys.
He was rich. He did the Playboy type of had a super nice Lamborghini,
yeah, just
Ferrari.
all the cliches.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like a Vegas, like all the stuff, party animal, like bang chicks, crazy, and then born again, and then for his family and his sons. He was basically, I call it indoctrination, but he was, indoctrinated them into the religion and his beliefs, and then was telling them don't have sex until you get married because this is I've done all these mistakes, and he would tell me about it, and I would say, well, you had an experience with the other side, right? And then that led you to this epiphany,
right.
and then now, and
you use that knowledge,
to
but
put
you where you are. Yeah, it's all a journey.
So now you don't want to ever go back to that,
right.
but you experience it, and I think that's an important part of the psychology, but making the decision. Now, if you don't let your son experience the other side, and you just tell him don't do it, I did that, it's not a way to go.
It's that whole do as I say, not as I do thing.
And then you're like, do you think that's going to be healthy? Because he's going to always wonder what the other side is unless you experience.
He's a great grandpa. I'm telling you, this guy's naturally good at this
stuff.
Grandma? I might have called him a grandma. I'm in love with him today.
You'll never understand how sweet something could be unless you taste the sour, right?
You got to let people have their own experiences.
So anyway, I watched it play out. Literally, sometimes you could you're like, oh, it's so obvious. Anyway, the son got married. Probably pretty too fast. He was young,
oh my God! All right, I know he's talking about now.
and then real young to get me 18 or something, and that's young nowadays. We're not in the 1950s anymore. And then immediate divorce. Less than a year later.
I didn't know that part.
Married again now, but it's he probably obviously got married quickly because he wanted to have sex, just like every 18 and 19-year-old, anybody male under 25, you're so crazy about sex because your testosterone, all that. Yeah. And then so you make decisions probably that are not the best decision because that's motivation, obviously. And then you find yourself in this situation. But it's so when you tell someone abstain from sex because it's not good for you.
Sure.
I understand. There's one thing if you did that, but it's another thing if you experienced all the other parts and then decided, and then now you're preaching abstain, but you got the experience the other side.
Yeah.
And fortifies it for you, but everybody else you tell that to that never experienced the other side is going to be constantly.
Yeah, but I feel like what you're describing is the majority of parents. I think I think most parents fail as a young person. I think, we have a lot of failures as young people, right? We drop the ball. That's how you learn. And I think most parents have done that. And then when it comes to our children, I think we go immediately to absolutely do not do this. Well, most.
Yeah. I don't know. Nowadays, I guess it depends on the circles you run in. But unless you're really religious, I think probably a lot of parents are like, hey, preach safety more than abstinence. So.
Schools are still teaching abstinence, dude. It's bad.
Schools?
Yeah.
Public schools?
Yeah.
What are they teaching?
And their sex ed.
They're saying. Hold on. When I went through sex ed, they taught us condoms,
we did a lot of
not
condoms.
abstinence. I guess it depends.
Yeah, it depends on the school too. I guess
what school you go to, but that's weird.
I went to public schools, and they taught us about condoms, but they basically said those are for when you're married and you don't want to have a kid kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't encourage it. They left a gray area there.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray.
They didn't encourage us, but they didn't, I think they kind of knew what was going to happen. And if you ever wanted condoms, you could go to the office and get them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
they had them. They had a basket of them.
Must
have gone to
didn't have that at our school.
Well, I was in a small town. I mean, I wouldn't say I went to a liberal high school, but yeah,
Right.
if you needed, and this is in 94.
Yeah, wow, that seems pretty progressive.
Yeah, I mean, you could, we had the girls on campus that were all pregnant that all were in the same class. I think everybody had that, right? The teen mothers class.
We had quite a few.
Yeah,
girls.
and we had that. I remember going over there. But I remember enjoying going over there because I found I was one of the message runners around school, where teachers would.
Oh, nerd.
Teacher's pet.
This is before email. That's how old I am. This is before you could just email teacher emails. I'm taking little pink slips back and forth, messages to people. That's how damn old I am.
If they let the kid that was allowed to roam freely because
there's a lot of power, dude.
Trusted in
nerd.
Nerd.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right. I'm totally okay with it. Yeah,
he was responsible. Also, it's like
totally okay with
it. What does it matter in this short period of time you go to school? Like, it's such a small period of time in your life.
Yeah.
Like your adult life is really the I know there's certain things that shape you, but it's like just get through school, whatever. I'm gonna tell my sons, like, just get out, get in, do the stuff,
get in to get out.
Yeah, and then
it just depends on what path you'll see it, right? I think we're gonna see it. And we're gonna know the path, and I'll see it. Like if Maisie's, I ain't gonna do, and puts her welding mask on, then I'll know what track she wants to go down. And if she's more like Andrea, then I'll know.
It's either
there's a lot of people that don't know. You know what I mean?
I now think the majority of people don't know.
I agree with that.
And then
I think you guys are right.
There's a stigma that you should know what you want to do for the rest of your life.
There is, though, because they try and ask junior year of high school, they're trying to tell you to figure out what major you want to go to in college.
I always hated that.
You're 16, 17. You don't know what you're doing.
It was too much pressure. I haven't experienced enough to know what I want to do.
They do that. I do it with my sons. Like, what do you want to be? I want a ninja or some ridiculous thing. I want to fly. Like, you're not going to do that.
That's a fantastic answer, though.
No, but now
Maisie
flying a plane.
She says artist chef. Artist chef.
But it doesn't
hell that is.
You're either going to be motivated or it's just going to naturally be the progress. But I think most people are just like, I don't know, and then you're just kind of tossed out in the world. Most just fall into the job they do, and then they just do it, and they're like, I guess.
If we ended this tomorrow, I would look at Andrea and be like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think I would.
Yeah.
And I'm old now.
I never in my entire life had like some sort of dream job that I wanted to do, and
I did. This is it.
Yeah.
So
I still to this day I never had like a.
So to this day, I don't want to do this.
no, it's not that I don't want to do it. I just never had like the quintessential dream job,
right.
And I don't even consider it's. To me, it's that probably changes too.
Yeah, I think it does change.
So it's like I imagine that anybody who has a dream job and is doing that after a certain amount of time, that maybe you're like, well, maybe this would be a better version of this dream job,
right.
or
I want to work less.
Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, and then it's like just it being a job. And you having to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like that, I think, ruins it. Because the fact that you have to do it means that it's not something there are certain exceptions, but anybody that has to do anything, it kind of ruins that thing that you're having to do, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like no matter if you like it or not, like I think if you have to do it for work, it tarnishes it.
Yeah, it decreases it. The analogy I would use is a silencer on a pistol from the game Cyberpunk 2077.
No.
You put it on there, and it's going to make things more quiet, and it's going to be easier, but you're going to decrease the amount of damage that you can do to people by 30%.
All right.
There you go. And I just sprinkled some nerd on it to make you mad. You got an email for me, Sam?
Sure. Going broke from scratch-offs for Tom.
What?
I heard Tom talking about scratch-offs and gambling addiction on ACT, so I figured I'd tell my story. When I first met my father-in-law 20 plus years ago, he gambled all the time. He was part of a successful family business that lasted over 60 years. He seemed like a total real man, working 14-hour days, making great money, kids in private colleges, all while hitting the casinos and buying daily hauls of scratch-offs. And he won. I would constantly hear about $100, $1,000, $5,000 scratch-offs or lotto tickets. One time he won $100,000.
Oh my God.
Another time he won a new Corvette convertible. The guy couldn't lose. Except he did. Things started getting weird. Several houses were sold. He got offers he couldn't turn down. Cars got cheaper. He didn't need anything fancy. No one worried because we all knew he had plenty of money. Eventually, my in-laws moved into an old apartment above the family business, and we started to figure it out. They were broke. No savings and six-figure credit card debts. A few years later, the business shut down. They had nowhere to go, so of course they ended up living with me for a while. Today, my father-in-law is in his 70s and still working. He's hanging on at a job that he's probably too old to do that's been decimated by the pandemic, living off that Social Security. Of course, he voted for Trump twice and stereotypically complains about the government and taxes while he makes little money and gets his Medicare and Social Security. Also, he had a fit when his Florida unemployment took forever. But best of all, whenever I get in his car, there are still piles of scratch-offs on the floor, just waiting for one more big hit.
He's an addict.
Oh, man.
You got to get him help.
Wow.
He's
Help
ruined his
him.
life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this guy's ruined his life.
That's my favorite email we've ever read. No,
Yeah. Guess what? It is. I'm telling everybody, it is impossible, and I'm not just saying this because it's my belief. It's mathematically impossible to win long term with scratch offs.
Yeah, it's the design.
With slot machines, with basically any Vegas game, unless you're cheating, counting cards and blackjack. But I'm just telling you,
the only factor that's ever on your side is opting in and opting out.
But you can have runs,
right? That's what I'm saying.
This guy obviously had a run. He won 100,000.
By design, the math will always take away from you. You'll never win.
And then that run, if he called it quits, he could claim like, "Hey, I won playing scratch offs and stuff." But the problem is, it's not long term. Yeah, so like you at any game of chance, and if it's a coin flip or whatever it is, you could make a lot of money. You could win. There's people that win the Powerball. It's unlikely.
Do you know anybody? For a minute, I remember. I think maybe I don't know if my mom was, no, but I think we had friends that would absolutely not play the lottery, thought it was dirty. Like, no. Oh my, like that was like a no-no.
Because gambling is
right, like almost
a sin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I remember growing up and having people, and I remember as a kid.
No, not when I grew up. I grew up around poor people. They all loved lottery and scratch
poor people, they love it.
I remember my mom and dad acted like they were like, oh my God, this guy's sticking the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember it being like that. And I remember my mom and dad giving me a lottery ticket to scratch. And I remember them explaining to me that you needed to be of 18 years of age, right, to purchase and scratch. And I remember my dad going through some sort of explanation about how if you win, then I'm going to have to fill it out. Like that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember feeling almost like I was breaking the law.
Really?
Like, I remember like feeling like, like it was like pulling the lever on a slot machine on a cruise ship as a kid.
Right.
You know, you
supposed to
knew
do it.
you weren't, or maybe that was just my parents had done a nice job of instilling decent values in me, so I knew.
Well, you're law-abiding.
You can feel it. It's a feeling.
You're like Tommy. You want to follow the rules.
Yeah, and when you don't, there is get you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know, you can. It's almost an anxiety.
Yeah.
Or anxiousness.
Yeah.
Does Tommy get that?
Oh, yeah.
Like if he were to break the rules because there was no other choice, let's just say he's in a horrible position, he would have a problem, right? Like an episode. Like I said, I can relate to that, man.
When my neighbor, when they were redoing the house next door and the ball flew over there, and I was like, hey, come on, boys, we're going to walk over there and get the ball in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know, no one lived there at the time. And then Tommy would
refused
to cross into the neighbor's backyard because he thought he felt that was wrong. Max was right there. Max was in front of me.
Yeah, it's almost like a higher level of respect, right? Like he just follows what you're
over me, his father, which should be the ultimate ruler in his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the only him and me and my mom. or my mom, my wife.
Yeah.
God! I do it all the time. I'm okay with it now.
I'm not okay.
No, I just call her mom now. I'm, just
Oh, okay.
I'm like, hey, mama. Like, I just
Yeah,
call her
you're
mom.
into
I'm
it.
just, I'm just going to go with it because at the end of the day, I get to slap that ass.
No, it's worse. That's
no,
worse.
it's not worse. Just accept it.
Don't
just
accept-
call her
never
mom.
accept
Just
it.
call
No,
her
I'm-
mom and eat the buffalo. Or whatever you do. What do you
never
do?
know.
Headbutt it. You
I don't do
kick
that.
it. Kick the dog.
Like DJ Khaled now. I don't do it. If you do that, you're not a real man.
That's not the best.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I'm here. You're here. All right. I'm sorry.
Be the worst.
All right, what do we got? Another voicemail?
Voicemail. Yeah. We'll bounce back to voicemails. Let's try. I think that we can.
Tom and Dan and Sam and Trav. Hey guys, it's
That's
Kenny,
Kenny,
and I was
right? Yeah,
listening to
we
you guys talk
listened to
about
that.
the
No, it's a new
fake
one.
Oh.
proposals at NBA halftimes and stuff. And having worked for a professional basketball team, obviously I can confirm that that's all fake. But one of the things that wasn't fake, and is probably one of the best things to happen at halftime, we had frisbee dogs at the arena, and you know, frisbee dogs are always a absolute fun time. You get to see them jumping and catching, and they're so happy.
Do people like or hate frisbee dogs? Because I got to tell you, I blanket love them. If they were doing like right outside our studio right now, I'd have to stop all the equipment. I'd have to go out there and just watch it go down.
The best thing about frisbee dogs is when you're watching him and you're seeing the guy, and when he ducks down and he does that move where the dog jumps off his back.
I
and
love that move.
And then
I'm a sucker for it.
And you're like, on the surface, this guy looks like the happiest guy in the world, but his life is sad.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I just wanna see-
Guess what? That dog is his wife, his best friend, everything.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And he, he lives in a apartment. Probably don't make too much.
I just don't want to see something bad. Like, he does look like he's having the time of a lifetime out there, like with the dog leaping, his best friend leaping off of his back to grab a frisbee in midair. And then I don't want to see him get into his Corolla later with a bunch of cages and he's just yelling profanity at them and screaming nonsense at them while he pounds a white Monster energy drink.
Because here's a tell: the amount of time it took him to train that dog to do that, and the amount of money it
he
yields,
sacrificed any good relationship he would have had.
which is our favorite thing. An extreme amount of time that gets you very little. Like it got him to do the halftime show, but they don't pay that much for those things.
No.
A lot of times you're doing it for just the glory of doing it.
Or to promote your the local no kill shelter near. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
like
you can hire Flippy and his dog to come to your birthday party.
We've seen internally through the Arena Football League or the MLS.
It's ruined a lot of the Arena Football League, MLS, working for sports franchises, being part of halftime shows, writing commercials has ruined the Super Bowl for me because I know that behind the scenes, something that glorious, that it's just gross and it's terrible and everything is wrong and it's all greed and terrible.
Well, it's just a business.
Yeah,
it's all
just
corporation.
Kenny has more. I'm just kind of ignoring him.
Well, one of the dogs after the performance just decided to take a massive dump on the court. Just when they were done catching the frisbees, they just squatted and laid a big old doo-doo just right on the court. And so the start of the second half was actually delayed while they had to clean it up and bleach it and making sure it dries and everything. So yeah, it was
Why you gotta bleach it?
You gotta at least sanitize it.
These
I
are
mean.
pro athletes
Just
that
spray some
literally-
Windex.
Windex.
Yeah, you just put some. What is it? 409 on it.
You get a paper towel. You pick it up. 409.
No,
So
you know what I do? You know what I do? I'll full transparency.
Towel. You're done. It should take. Why was that delayed?
No,
I
there's
could
no
clean that
delay.
up in 1 minute. I'm not even joking.
I could use my hoodie. I'll pick it up with an Orlando Magic napkin. I'll put it in one of my empty beer cups. I'll take my hoodie and move the doo-doo, put my hoodie back on because it's just dog crap. It doesn't matter. And get about our day.
But you could clean up dog doo-doo on a hardwood basketball court.
I can do it in
60 seconds.
Yeah.
No, 60.
Yeah,
I can
and
do
that's-
it. I can do it in 15 seconds flat.
Hold
dry.
on, no, but
Pretty easily, yeah.
sanitizing, I do agree. You have to spray some sort of 409
Lysol
on it,
wipe.
Lysol or
Do
Lysol
ya?
wipe. Yeah.
I mean, do you? Because somebody's going to put their sneaker that's been all over the globe right on the dog doo-doo, and that's dirtier than the dog doo-doo. The dog doo-doo's cleaner than your shoe.
Yeah, your shoe's been in the bathroom, stomped around. Yeah.
Your
You're
shoe
right.
has literally been in the men's locker room with the Orlando Magic, where
doesn't
God
have-
knows what's happening.
No
in
one's
there.
eating off the basketball court. You're right. Yeah.
That's my point. Is like, why do you have to disinfect
Although,
it?
well,
What are they gonna get?
they're
Frisbee
all-
dogitis?
They're all millionaires, so their standards are probably higher than the rest of us, minions. So
Is it standards or is it just being
if you're
reasonable
worth-
human?
If you're worth $30 million of dog poop, you're just like clean it up with some bleach, but I still can do. You don't have to delay the game.
Yeah.
Right.
30 seconds. Right.
Let's do one more and then we'll take a little break.
Voicemail or email?
Voicemail.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
got a good one loaded for us here.
Hello, mediocre crew. Just before the holiday break, Daniel was discussing how he'd been playing his new Xbox, but playing the old, Xbox One Madden before realizing he had the upgrade for the new Madden.
Yes.
I've had a couple similar instances in my life. When I got the PlayStation 3, it was cool, and I was like, well, it's kind of weird that the cords are so short, but at least they're detachable to the remotes or the controllers, so I can get a longer cord in the future. And after about 3 or 4 months, I realized, those controllers are remote controllers, and you don't have to be plugged in. That was just to keep it charged. Felt like quite a fool. And then secondly, to add insult to injury, I got a Switch a few years ago, and it must have been 8 months until I realized Switch is touchscreen. So, Daniel, don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Took me like 2 months to know the touchscreen on the Switch too. Yeah, I think it's just natural. My brain is just dying, and it's just I'm not as good with technology as I used to be, and I'm not going to be, and I've accepted that. I'm okay with it. I'm better than the average guy just because it's one of my interests, but I'm dying, Sam.
Right.
And it's
we
just-
talked about that this week.
Yeah.
We're all slowly dying. Our
Yeah,
brains
it's just-
are slowly shutting down.
So if you had asked me 10 years ago about this whole, me playing the older version of Madden on the brand new Xbox, it wouldn't have happened. But now here we are.
Nah. That's why you gotta bring it up. I know that it's the truth, and it's all happening to all of us
Oh,
at the
yeah.
same time.
How are you dealing? How are you, sir, dealing with the implementation of the Nintendo Switch into the Van household? Because I know for a very long time, much like me, I said, my kids, I'll run a tight ship. They'll never run over me, yada, yada, yada. I was a fool. I was 100% wrong, got it all wrong. I remember you telling me, no video games, this ain't going to happen. We're not going to do the
wanted
video
to fight
game.
it for as
we're
long as yeah.
So where are we at now?
It's the worst thing we've ever done.
Yeah, I thought
Oh.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me too, yeah.
They like it. It's too good.
Yeah, it's amazing. You have one, don't you, a Switch?
yeah.
They're amazing.
So when anything is given to you that's too good and more fun than any other option you
It's
have,
the most fun thing ever.
then all you want to do is that particular thing. Now, I
I
understand
have that
as a
in my
parent,
household too.
And
Cheryl Crow wrote a song about this.
yeah, it's like it's the same thing as why I tell everybody never try a speedball or any sort of great.
Right.
The greatest of it. Don't fly first class if you can't always fly first class.
You
Don't
know, the very first time I flew, they upgraded me to first class, and
ruined it.
And I just didn't realize how much of a difference it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
until
it ruined it.
I
did
had
it.
to do the transfer, and I'm like, oh.
I did it my first flight back after the horrible flight, remember? With my wife. Ruined it for me.
Never
Absolutely
no.
ruined it.
Yeah. So once
That's wise.
they know that it's there and it's an option, that's all they would want to do. If given the option, obviously. And yeah, that's why your parents, and that's why we have to do all right, you're an hour a day, that's it, and nothing else.
Now, how
there's
is Crystal
rules.
handling it? Because I know she's very anti-video game.
No, she knows it, but we both talk about it. We're like, they're just obsessed with it. I mean, we went on that beach vacation after Christmas. We didn't bring video games. I don't want to bring any screens or video games. I'm like, screw it.
How did they handle it?
They were fine, but I'm not joking. On day number 4, Tommy woke up the day we were leaving, and he's like, I dreamed I was playing Mario Kart while I was in Minecraft. I dreamed.
Wow. Switch Inception.
My dream was I was
so cute.
in Minecraft playing Mario Kart.
His
And,
mind was so starved for it, he created the ultimate video
They
game.
were dreaming about it. Close to
He needs a
addiction.
hit, man.
It's in the Venn diagram of addiction, and so I'm like, oh God, he, obviously because it's really good,
Yeah,
and
it
the
is.
games are good.
So
and
what did
the
they do on the
design-
drive? if you didn't
Oh
give them
God,
video
we do a lot of
games.
I Spy with my little eye.
No. The video, it was 3.5 hours. We gave him half the time to be on their Switch.
Oh, so there was screen time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was
so
when we
there's
got out of the
truth.
car because the 3-hour drive, we were
And the clock starts
Now.
It's like supermarket sweep.
we'll make them do an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours with no other entertainment. We tell them like, look out the window.
Yeah.
You know,
Remember when we used to have to do road
I know.
trips?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they
But
say
You come up with stuff to play with
Yeah.
you
I
know,
forget
your
this-
siblings or
I forget
whatever.
the lady. She might be like one of the like a very powerful and well-known CEO for a major company. Could even be like Disney or some facet of Disney. But she talks about that. She's like a doctor too, and she has like a whole thing about how like we as a global society have tried to eliminate boredom and how boredom is necessary
Right.
for critical thinking.
For imagination, yeah.
It's like it's that alone time with your own cognitive reasoning and allowing you to fire certain parts of your brain that you're not going to get if you're just always interacting with a device. of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sort.
No, for sure it's bad
weird.
and it's got to be regular, just like anything else. Like obviously,
Oh, I'm terrible about it,
like,
man.
hey,
I'm the worst. I think I'm the worst in the
One-
studio.
you take a little bit of opiate, and then you never abuse it. You're probably fine forever, But
Right.
then it's like, of course, everything is. If you do too much of anything, it's bad for you.
Everything in moderation.
Like
Yeah,
you're
of
really
course.
good about your screens, I think, and I think Sam's really good about
No,
his
no,
screens.
I'm horrible.
And I don't know about Butler, but I know I'm bad. I know mine. It gives you that timer. Mine just consistently goes up.
Yeah. It's definitely something in the future we'll look back on in society and be like,
That's
oh.
when the downfall started.
Oh yeah, we're like, we shouldn't have done this, or the next, my son's generation are gonna be like, man, you just gave everybody all this at once, and with nobody had any regulation or any idea that the too much was like cigarettes back in the 20s or something. It's like, hey, smoke crazy, it's fine, it's good for you. I think that will probably end up playing out where it's like, oh, you have to limit your time because it'll ruin your brain. It's like sugar for your brain or whatever the hell.
100%. Yeah, it's got to be.
Or maybe it isn't, and maybe we just think, I don't know.
Oh God, I hope they come back later and say cigarettes were good.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, Samantha, and Butler here. Everybody's going to talk about this because it's like the spicy water cooler, story that came out in the last couple of days. I found it like 3 days ago. I thought everybody was going to talk about it, but nobody did. Now, 3 days later, people are starting to talk about it, so screw it. Let's do it. Denmark is debuting a new children's show about a man with a huge and uncontrollable penis.
Okay. Now, what does that mean?
Okay. Denmark's flagship broadcaster has suffered blowback over its newest children's TV program, John Dillamond, an animation starring a man with a penis so massive and flexible it can save children from danger, fetch objects from a river, and operate as a pogo stick.
What?
I'm reading this from CNN, by the way, so I have to give them full credit.
So,
Yeah.
This is a children's show?
Okay, so like in the first episode, they say, for instance, this guy uses his gigantic organ as a dog leash for his dog. But he quickly finds himself inundated with like his neighbors in the neighborhood asking for them to use his penis to take their dogs for walks as well. And then another point in the same episode, he is stuck floating midair after balloons are tied to his groin.
is this on a network?
It's a streamable.
So just an online.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million inappropriate cartoons. Like, are they promoting this? This is like children for children.
Okay, so
or
the
is this-
network it is for children, and the network claims. The online description of the show. They say that Dillerman's genitals get him into embarrassing situations, and it can be used for good once he embraces that he's different. So what they're saying is that he's different because he has this enormous ween,
and then
and that it's the differences that also get him into trouble, but also can help him get out of trouble. So it's body positive, I guess, is where they're going.
I have a problem. Okay, tell me. I can't ever take anything at face value and I always have to look at it and then I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense. And then I just never ending try to find out what the angle is.
Okay,
like,
so
what's the reason they did this?
Okay, I'll
Like
leave you with this.
publicity stunt.
I don't know, but I'll leave you with this. It says the show is generally met with hilarity in Denmark across the internet, with many praising it as appropriate and lighthearted, or as a lighthearted way to teach children about the human anatomy. Well, I think that's kind of silly. I think
That's a cop-out.
Yeah, I think it's. I personally believe that, but
Is that a cultural difference that we're like appalled by, and they in that
Could be.
culture they're
Could be.
like nudity is more accepted, more open, more considered
This
funny?
isn't about
Well, it is.
nudity. They're saying that this man uses his penis to save children. That's a weird message to send.
I just don't know. Like, because yes, we're all looking like, how could this be? What's the angle?
I don't
like,
know.
like, how did this get? Because here's the thing: like, this is not just accidentally shown
Right.
on a TV, and then people are appalled because it's like, oh my god, we switched the files. This was approved.
the whole. It's a series. It's not just one episode.
There was, I guess, over a dozen smart adults that approved this and decided this was. So then that makes me look at it like, all right, either we're not understanding Denmark's culture and that's just American culture. You know, it's like they're different with nudity.
I think it was
like-
meant to be funny, like a fart, is what I think.
yeah. Or that
I think it was meant to be lighthearted. Like my daughter,
You know, America,
yeah.
we look at sexuality as the worst possible thing that you could show
violence
kids
over
or-
sex all day long.
Yeah. Violence is totally fine.
Violence is fine.
We'll have our kids watch the GD news. That's horrible.
Oh, I had to
and
turn
then
that off,
we
yeah.
will freak. Even Mandalorian, Crystal asked, and she's not even like this, but she's like, "Is there any like sexy parts, or you know, she
Naked
didn't,
butts?
Yeah.
or like when we're looking at like you know, a movie or something,
Sure.
where she's always tends to be more concerned about the sex and nudity
Weird.
than
I
the
think
violence.
North America. Well, I can't speak for Canada,
But
but
if
I
you
think
add-
the U.S. is primarily like that.
But she
yeah.
doesn't. She doesn't think like that logically. You see what I'm saying? Like, she knows that nudity
Of
and
course.
sex
It's
is
just a
way
thing we
is
do.
better than violence, and she knows that violence is way worse.
It's ingrained.
But I'm just saying, and it'll be a.
It's not a
second
cognitive. I do it too with Maisie, and it's not
Yeah.
a big deal. She's a girl. She has all the girl parts, on there. And if she saw boobs, really, dude.
Who cares?
But
Yeah.
I do go up, like that's just it's a reaction.
Like, I think just because of the culture we grew up in, I think we would be more afraid to have our kids see a nude body than a guy or someone punching each other. You know what I'm saying? Like that, which is, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are like, well, maybe I'd rather see the punch than the nude. But that's absurd.
This
That's
may have
absurd.
been an experiment of some sort too, because
there has to be
They
some
said like a
angle.
handful of parents went on Facebook. DR is apparently the name of the network, or whoever is kind of propping it up, and it says they went on their Facebook page urging them to remove the program, which is funny because the program hadn't even been released yet. They were comment. You see what I'm saying? Like the outrage was there. There should have been no outrage because it hadn't aired. It hadn't been released, but they were still up in arms about it. So it almost sounds like I don't know. I'd
Publicity.
have to.
It's like
Could
that's
be, yeah.
like
I'd have
every
to
Yeah, I
see
haven't
it.
watched it, so I can't really. But it does seem odd to me. I don't know.
You
I
know,
mean, this picture of the guy floating through the air by his ween is pretty funny. I'd watch it, I think.
we talked to Joey Mazant, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, all game shows are rigged. It's not
Right.
never
It's all
and
scripted.
all scripted.
Oh,
Everything's
wait.
fake." So it's like every time I see anything like this, I'm always looking at the angle, like who did this for what publicity?
Okay, hold on.
purposes?
This guy's a hero. In one episode, he breaks a friend's vase with his penis and must raise money to pay them back. In the third episode, he uses it to steal an ice cream at the zoo. Now that's bad. I don't condone that. The show's opening montage also shows him using his genitals to keep a lion away from a group of children. He's a hero.
It's and is this claymation? It
looks like claymation.
Scary. Like
Yeah, it looks a little.
that's the scariest part of it. But yeah. I always look
He's
at all
also
these things.
dressed like Where's Waldo, so I almost feel like there's a mistaken
Right.
identity type of thing here or something. But anyway, it's very, very Very strange and interesting. And you might have nailed it. Maybe it's just a European or Scandinavian styled difference in culture. That's it.
Nudity was on midday on German television, and I was watching just on a hotel, like a pretty crappy hotel TV, and I was just
normal
changing channels, and I saw nude American Gladiators or something like that, and then I saw another nude show where they had to guess the difference in the picture, but the person calling, did I tell you about that? They would call up and then guess the difference in the old bar game where there's two nude girls and bikers.
No, I don't remember this story.
It was on TV. And then it was basically
like interactive, like calling.
Yeah,
I want that now. That's like archaic. I want that now on Twitch.
And there was like a host, and then the guy.
That's fantastic,
and
Tom.
then a caller would be like, "It's upper right hand corner. There's this girl has fingernail polish. This girl doesn't." It was all in German. I didn't understand what they're saying, but then they'd circle the things.
Oh, that's great.
And it was interactive nude bar game television show, middle of the day in
Steph
Germany.
in our Twitch chat room, she says Swiss TV is a good time. Everyone is gorgeous. I can believe that. Yeah.
But then again, so imagine growing up watching that. Nudity is nothing to you. So a guy using his penis for antics may be in that culture nothing to them, and we're looking at it like, oh my god, like
yeah.
I don't,
Well, because we've made.
Well, did people in Denmark ask for it to be removed, or are we saying that Americans are finding out about it?
No. It's people in Denmark, but it doesn't seem
like it's a minority.
It seems like very limited. It almost does seem like a cultural thing. Like, look, guys, we can take a joke. A few of you that maybe are a little more maybe American influence, I don't know, or maybe you're just super conservative.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't like it. But it seems like most people are saying, nah, it's fine, no big deal. It's it's harmless. It's not like he's a pedophile man, It's not like he's having to question his pedophilia and suppress it in order to save the children. It's like he's never been one to begin with. He just happens to use his Waldo Ween to save the kids.
Yeah, I just look at it like I don't.
It's bizarre though. It is.
If there's groups of adults and then there's a some sort of company involved that's out there to make money and all that put together, I imagine that it's fine. If we watch it, we'd be like, it's not that bad. A little weird though.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch it just to see what the hubbub's about.
I wouldn't show Max and Tommy because then they start telling their friends about what the kind of cartoons are dad show.
I didn't want to go here. Look, I didn't want to go here, but I am going to go here. We all know the story about the kid who puts things in a pool jet. We all know the stories about the man who puts things in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, like the first thought that I had as a negative thing is you shouldn't be using that to save anybody. Like that is for eliminating waste and making children, right? And pleasure if you're an adult. Well, I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not to fight it's not to fight crime.
Okay, yeah.
You could get hurt that way. Like you could be playing with your friends and not only get arrested, but possibly get hurt by emulating this.
Right.
Peen here. You see, that was my first thought.
Yeah. Although, I know with my sons, I'd be like, oh, you're not saving much with that. You would know. I mean, this guy is gifted. What are you going to fight off? B? Got nothing there. Listen, I'm your old man. I gave it to you. I know because I'm not fighting anything either.
One day, though, that might change.
We're all not fighting anybody.
We're not fighters. They're pacifists.
Better find a sword or gun. Yeah, it's America. Find a gun. Bye-bye.
Welcome to another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. Hey, Sam.
Hey.
Butler is in the other room. We are live on Twitch right now. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. I don't know why we have so many people watching that. I just looked at it the other day, and the numbers that we get of people that go there to watch it. I'm not complaining because look, wherever you consume it, you can
sometimes they can't catch it live. So
yeah, but I put it on YouTube as well, and I kind of take out all the fluff. But maybe you like the fluff and the pauses and the warts and all. So look, however you consume it, it's fine with me. Just search Tom and Dan Live for Twitch and for YouTube.
Also, one of our great sponsors, Secured Roofing and Restorations, doing a promo for Tom and Dan listeners only. and it's up to $500 credit if you get a complete roof
Yeah.
done with them. So, even if you get through insurance, it's like Visa gift card. Also, you could use it as credit for your gutters and other things. So, just talk to them about it. You can get a free estimate on your roof at securedroofingandrestoration.com.
Yeah, you owe it to yourself to give them a call. We talked to the owner.
Just tell them that we sent you, and then ask them about the promotion, the $500, up to $500 credit back.
Yeah, and go with somebody whose number one concern about being a roofer is their reputation in the business.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that that they are not like typical roofers. Typical
sketchy companies out
roofers
there,
give them a bad name and make it hard for them to do their job. So, Secured, give them a call and see what they can do for you.
Oh man, my neighbor, my buddy Francis from Miami, he
I
got
saw him
screwed.
getting a little hot about the power going out last night, man. Y'all
What's going on over there?
Y'all got to make some calls because Francis was hot. He was hot.
Oh, Crystal was cooking dinner, and
It looked delicious, by the way, and I know you were going. I know you want to yuck all over it, but it looked good.
Yeah,
it looked. Did you hear what I said?
cauliflower steak.
It looked good. Crispy cauliflower steak. It looked good. The boys looked jazzed about it. You were in no pictures, which led me to believe you were outside drowning yourself.
I'll gagging it down.
Gagging it down. Did you put some kind of sauce on that?
Yeah,
By the way,
lots of sauce.
You want to lose weight because this guy looks good, right? Like he's all muscly now and he's lost so much weight. It's because he's been only eating cauliflower steaks.
It's a miserable
And Mommy
life.
does.
It's miserable. Goddamn
Mommy
miserable.
does.
Way better. Oh, I wish I was big and fat.
If I gave you a foot long
Cappy sub, greasy,
greasy Cappy's
Oh.
cheesesteak, double cheesesteak.
medium blowout, big time. Oh, but delicious.
Okay.
Then I'd be like, why did I do that? And then,
And then you'd beat yourself up all day.
I
Just get mad, take it out
immediately
on-
start smoking again.
yeah. you
I like
got
that. It's like you try your hardest, then one slip up, and all just jump off.
Well, you smoke again to suppress your appetite because you're like, I'll just do it for a couple days and keep me from eating. And
Yeah. But that's what I did with THC. Where like THC will stop me from drinking, and then I'm like, whoa, THC with one White Claw is really good. Then 10 White Claw.
Yeah.
And THC.
Do you
then you're
have-
like, this is
Do you have my house bugged?
what?
I begged my wife for one White Claw last night because I'm not drinking right now,
Oh.
but I was high, and I begged her I just give me one because together.
Oh, so good.
I told her, I said to her, I just whispered in her ear, I go, let me light the fuse.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. Just let me light the fuse,
alcohol 10 times more
It does.
intense.
It makes you feel it better. It's like sex on ecstasy.
and then the alcohol takes a little the
Yeah.
anxiety.
But then I want
edge
more
off the
weed, and then I
THC.
want more alcohol.
Yeah,
So that's the real monster your kids see when they're around the house.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm playing
Well, that's
Monster
happening
with
in my
wife.
head.
Yeah.
Whether in reality, I'm slowly walking across the kitchen, but in my head, I'm
Okay, as you were saying, Francis.
Oh, he got screwed by a roofer.
Aw,
They,
Francis.
Take that. We didn't forget Francis.
Literally, I think they actually, which is worse. By the way, the scamming roofers out there. This is what they did. Like, I think like he paid them. Or I think they went up there and then they ripped off all the shingles, right? And then he paid them half.
I feel bad laughing about this.
And then
This
they
is a
just
friend of ours.
They just never came back. And then like so,
No.
not only did they steal half the money, but they took all the shingles off. So he was extra screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
just steal the money and
That's
do
like-
nothing. It would
that's
be better
the
off.
roofer's equivalent of somebody skinny dipping. You steal their bathing suit.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm out of here.
You know, I can understand stealing the money, but you just like adding insult to injury. You rip the guy's shingles
Right.
off, and then you leave town.
All right.
I wonder if they laugh about that. Like we stole his money and ruined
Well,
his house.
I'll tell you one thing. They're not sad about it.
Yeah. I don't- You're right. Are they a little?
No.
Do they feel guilty?
No. No, you can't feel guilty on meth. Sam,
A
what
little bit.
is, give me an email.
All right.
Because we neglect these.
When you,
Uh-oh.
when you steal, like, okay, you're down on your luck. You're on oxy. You're addicted. You're right. You're.
Wait a minute. Are we actually talking about me? Or?
No. I'm talking. I'm
Ooh,
just.
I
I'm
dodged that
guessing.
bullet.
Like the people that the guy that stole my wallet, right?
Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, he just
I
threw
thought
it
a-
in your yard.
I thought a
Or
dog
he stole
stole
the
your
money.
wallet, and then the dog ran and dropped it in your yard.
I listen. I have sympathy for this guy because he's probably going through some tough times. But then again, I also don't have sympathy because I'm like, don't go around
Yeah.
stealing other people's stuff because you've made
Right.
horrible
The
decisions.
Club La Vila shirt over his nose led me to believe the same.
But I he's an
Conclusion.
addict, lots of things. Anyway, he when he steals my wallet, like, and he's walking down my street, takes the money out,
Yeah.
and then throws my wallet in the bushes. Probably that's probably where he's like, well, at least they'll find the wallet eventually, and then he'll get his.
He could have put
idea
it
yeah,
back in
why
your
couldn't
car.
he just take the money out in your car and leave your wallet?
He could have just put the
'Cause
wallet
he's
in
a
your car.
D-head.
Yeah. Does he feel a little bad? Does he
No.
like, man, when he gets high that night off the oxy he bought with my money?
No.
Does he think like, man, that's kind of.
I mean, when I pull
Or is he
handles
mad
and-
at me, or he's just justify it by saying, hey, he's rich, he's fine.
I will tell you when I pull
though I'm not,
when I pull handles in Baldwin, and I mean I steal cell phones like crazy. I don't feel bad about it at all. They go right in the shoebox, and I go right to play Xbox.
Because humans can justify anything, and then you, in your mind.
Well, you're effed up. You don't even remember what you did.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I did.
No, you're. Oh, okay. Oh,
I don't,
it's
even, I don't even know I did. I'm a
All
zombie.
right. First-
I'm an addict.
First email, sorry. First email, sorry.
Oh, I heard
was
something
that?
about female, and I was like, what?
I just heard whistling. I thought somebody's grandpa was going to chop wood. What was that?
Nick old Butler's
That's the
out there
chopper.
whistling
Yeah.
around the
He
office.
came like whistling. I thought my grandpa had come back from the dead.
It's another trait. The choppers love whistling.
Whistling,
Yeah.
Oh,
Whistles
man.
like an old man.
I have an old man that whistles behind my house. It's annoying as hell. Okay,
That's
so
why the dwarves whistled while they worked, and their work was chopping stone.
The fact that you got all the way through that is
Sorry.
honestly, that was pretty impressive.
impressive.
Okay, so it says on ACT, you guys talked about how Uber led to a decrease in DUIs and DUI-related deaths. Here's another thought. Do you think that the pretty substantial price increase of Uber these days will lead to people starting to drink and drive again? I remember a few years ago, a $10 to $15 Uber could get you almost anywhere within reason. Now a 25-minute Uber is setting you back like $30. We're all aware of how expensive a DUI is in comparison, but when you're drunk and you think a lot more about money coming out of your pocket instantly compared to a possibly paying if I get a DUI.
How much did it go up by? Because
It's pretty pricey, but it's also gone up since the pandemic.
Yeah, I haven't been using it during the pandemic because I haven't been going anywhere, so I have no reference point here. But I do remember when you and I first
It was
started
way
using it,
cheaper.
because I know I got on it early because of Andrea traveling.
yeah.
Because she had some business trips, and one of her managers used it, and I'm talking way early. I was like in beta. And then you and I used it way early, and I remember it was blowing our minds at how affordable it was.
Right.
Like we were like, for
Yeah.
young business guys, like, well, young.
It was
for a small bit.
1/3 the cost
Yeah.
of a taxi,
And it was
that dramatic.
Yeah, it was a game changer for us when we were going on these trips because
Yeah.
we were able to really slash our budget, you know, and do more fun stuff.
Taxi from the airport to the hotel was $110,
True.
and then the Uber back was $60.
True.
You know, it was like that much of a
Yeah.
dramatic difference with a nicer
Yeah.
black car at the time. It
Yeah,
was
and
only Uber
at the
Black.
time, Sam, we were in like
It was like a Lincoln Continental.
Yeah, it was like we were in a
Yeah.
cushy ass. Like I felt like I was KGB or something.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like remember our driver
I'm like,
was Russian.
This is half the cost than the pukey limo with bulletproof glass, and
Yeah.
the guy that and I was like, whoa, it's disgusting in
yeah,
here.
do you remember the guy was Russian? And then early on you could take their card, and then you could just repeat. So we used that guy all weekend.
Yeah. A lot of them were drivers first, and then they use their car for Uber. So
I think there is something to that. I could see somebody, if you're saving your money to go out and party, I can see you maybe taking the risk. So yeah, there is some I think there's some validity to that point.
I did notice that the last time I was about to use Lyft. It was like it must have been during a high, and
They have peak hours and
Yeah.
stuff too.
it was like peak hours, and I looked at it and I was like, whoa! And I remember
Yeah.
thinking like, wow.
Wait, no, you were here one time. Remember, you were calling one to go home, and you're like,
It was like $32 or something.
It,
I was like,
yeah,
I was
it was
like,
$30
damn.
for 7 miles.
Like usually, like I remember when this was $8.
Dude, when after the Backstreet Boys concert, like what was it, last year, the year before that I went to? So downtown Orlando to where I lived,
Yeah.
maybe a 10-minute drive at the time. It was a $75 ride. I was
Yeah.
like, no way.
Yeah. Now So I wonder if this was Uber and Lyft's and these like planned the whole time, because if you think about it, it's brilliant because it's kind of what the
get you dependent upon it, like a drug dealer or something.
Make it convenient with an app, and then start cheap, and then slowly increase.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what companies do.
Right.
Obviously, their goal is to make money, but they also change the culture and how we use transportation. I mean, everybody knows about ride sharing and Uber and Lyft. And
fully
stuff.
accepted now. Yeah,
and then that's how there's no going back.
No.
You know, it's not like all of a sudden we're gonna be like, we'll go back to taxis. Like, it's never happening. It's done.
No.
And same thing. I remember how brilliant I thought this was with all the porno company website, the aggregates that just steal all
the
the
tube
content.
sites. Yeah,
the tube sites. So their plan, which when I found out about it at the end, and we talked about it, is like they stole all the content. They knew that they were going to get sued, but the lawsuits were going to be drawn out in court. They would just pay to draw them out. And then obviously the court system wasn't that, like, they weren't going to rush to help these porn companies just for whatever politics or, that kind of thing. And so their plan was like, we'll change the culture and how people consume this. And by the time the lawsuits are even close to being done, there's no going back.
Right.
And so I wonder if these rideshare places are like, we will change the culture and how people use transportation, taxis, and so now it's done. We could all agree, like, we're never going back, and then we'll just make it will increase the price. And maybe they made it so cheap at the beginning, and they factored that in. They're like, we won't make money for 10 years, but then we'll make a lot of money.
I never thought about that.
You should probably invest into Uber and Lyft and anybody listening to, because I think. When
is the all-female one coming to Orlando? Didn't they tease that last year? I guess probably the pandemic
they ever get
might have
back
pushed
to
it
us
back.
about
No,
talking?
I haven't got anything back.
Damn
from
it!
them.
I want to talk to that lady that created it's almost like a safer way for ladies to travel in Ubers. It's like all girls.
The convenience factor, though, it's like the reason why Uber and Lyft are so good is because it made the ability to just hit pick me up, and then usually there's an Uber between 7 and 10 minutes away.
I also feel like when Uber and Lyft first started, I got a pretty healthy mix of drivers as far as genders, and now I feel like it's always guys. I haven't had a female driver on Lyft in a long time.
There was a time when I only had like female drivers. Like it was almost like a peak.
Because like stay-at-home moms and stuff were picking up
and I'm with you now. Yeah, it's all like guys now.
Yeah. I wonder why.
It's probably...
Could be a safety thing.
Yeah, it's probably just a thing where... And then it's also been shown that...
I mean, obviously there are more guys driving Uber than ladies. I mean, that's got to be a fact.
A lot. I bet it flooded the market with people trying it out and stuff. And then I've heard statistics like that no one stays an Uber or Lyft driver for like statistically longer than like 4 to 6 months or something. It's like to be...
I met a guy one time who's done it for 6 years.
Yeah, and then of course there's a lot of people that do it for a long period of time, but the majority of people just jump in and jump out, or jump in when they need some extra money.
Right.
So the long-term people are probably primarily male. If Uber released and Lyft released their statistics, it would be like, what would you think? 80% male drivers?
I'd think even more,
maybe
but I don't
higher.
know.
Yeah, I maybe go higher. Some comments in the chat room that are making me laugh. Let's see. Christine says, I have more female Instacart delivery people, though. Yeah,
that's true.
I agree on that. I have a lot of female Asian Instacart delivery people.
I think they all went from Uber and Lyft to like Shipt and Instacart because you don't have to have anyone in your car. You can just grab stuff, drop it off.
Man, I'm a check things off the list type of guy, and there is a weird thing about Instacart and shopping for people that kind of gets me off a little bit. Like, Like if I was an old man and
you like it?
Yeah, and I needed a job and I could still walk and I didn't have to shuffle. There's something very pleasing in my brain to having a list of items that somebody needs, and all I have to do is acquire those the best I can. And I'm gonna do good,
like most efficient.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I'm gonna get it and put it on, and then package it, and then take it. I don't know. There's something pleasing about that to me.
That's weird. I bet there's a lot of people. I mean,
I could totally do that job, and it would be good for my anxiety.
See, to me, that's insane.
I know,
because that sounds like the most miserable situation ever. Lists and having to find.
It sounds like Legos. Like, it sounds like the manual. You open it up, and it's like step 1. You got this bag with these pieces. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. It's pleasing to you.
Yeah, there's something... Like, right now, I'm even having, like, a a feeling. It's weird, man.
Can we all agree, though, the best thing this pandemic gave us was
Masks. I love masks. God, I love them.
Was food delivery companies just leaving the food on your front porch and then going back to the car.
Yeah, but
never having to interact
But they
with
gotta
anybody.
ring the doorbell or text you.
Because
I've had a couple of pizzas that sat a little while.
I had a whole barbecue meal sit overnight.
Yeah, I haven't had overnight, but I have had like an hour.
And a tip to those delivery drivers, please put the bag of food
away from the door.
Oh, so I can open the door because
you guys, I'm gonna get you
because
every time.
Because I
lean it.
I got the storm door where it opens out.
Yeah, and there's two doors. I've got the regular wooden door, and then I got a screen door, right?
Right,
And then
storm door.
So I open the regular door in, and the screen door opens out.
Same.
And then I go and I look through the screen, and then and then it's sitting right there, and then the bag has
You
a knot.
gotta go out the back.
Well, yeah, usually I go
walk
to the
around the whole
garage,
house.
but most of the time because I'm too lazy, I'm like
Smoosh it all down.
just open the door slowly, which usually
And then you
smushes
squeeze your hand so you scrape all the skin off your arm.
The worst though is when the drinks are right there. Then you have to go around.
Yeah. But
Who orders drinks?
I'm like,
Sometimes.
why didn't you think about this, delivery man or woman? Why?
I think they're clowning us. I think they know.
Is it?
I mean, it
an
would be
F
hard
you?
for me not to do that. You know,
They have to know,
and
right?
I think I'm a nice, good person, but I think it would depend on my age. If I'm 19-year-old Daniel, and I'm a good person, I think. You know, at least I try to better myself. I would do it, I think. I think I put the drinks right against your storm door. I'm just trying to be honest.
Right.
I think as a younger person, I would see how many of those drinks I could lean on the door.
And it's code in Florida for your front door to open. If you don't have a storm door or two doors, your front door has to open out, right?
Mine doesn't.
No, it opens in.
Mine's opens in.
Because I thought because of wind, it's easier or it's harder for the door to blow in.
It might be, but mine is
Maybe it's different code with the
townhome.
I don't know.
Probably.
I mean, I have no idea about codes or what I'm even talking about.
I don't know anything about doors.
I just made that up.
I barely know where I'm at right now.
I
Sam,
thought.
You got another email for me?
Sure. Anonymous from Lakeland here.
This is usually where they get mad at us, right?
I don't know. On a sort of recent episode, Dan shared a story about injuring his bikini area with the Norelco Body Groom personal shaver.
Well, it's because the guard fell off and I just chewed it like an alligator.
I'm ride or die for you guys and ran right out to purchase this shaver as soon as Dan sang its praises. For about a year now, my boin loins have looked like the enticingly pink monkey brain delicacy served in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but at a price. I lose a hit point or two a week doing lawn maintenance on my aging reproductive gear while using the bloodthirsty Norelco shaver. No real point to all this except to let Dan know that we're blood brothers and he's not suffering alone.
All right.
You know, I think who that's from that might surprise you is Jim from Lakeland. I'm serious.
Why did he say anonymous from Lakeland?
Because he didn't want me to say his name, but I don't adhere to what people ask me to do. I'm pretty sure that's Jim. Yeah, you got to leave anything down there. And then as I age, I notice that my skin is getting thinner. That's what happens with old people. Like your knuckles get thinner. Everything gets thinner, and then you start to become like one of those weird, translucent, spotty old men.
Yeah, and you always, especially
You
if
bruise. If you lean on a cantaloupe, you bruise.
if you're a Florida real man that that I saw growing up, whatever, your hands are always bloody.
Yes.
Because your skin is too thin,
Yes.
and you're constantly
Wrenching
punching something,
Yeah.
punching your lawnmower,
Yeah,
like
pushing a boar away, mending a fence.
I wouldn't want to lick your forearm because it's all
it's
scabs
blood.
and blood.
My dad's arms at one point were just nothing but scabs, band-aids, and like blood smears.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, Dad, I mean, like, wear some Homer Simpson radioactive gloves when you do yard work.
Also, this is an old man thing to complain about, but I wish they made body trimmers that have batteries instead of now they all being rechargeable, and I'll make my case for it. So, when you have a rechargeable, yes, when you have a rechargeable body trimmer, inevitably You don't always put it back on the charger. If you're like me, you're bad at life.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I always put mine back on the charger.
Yeah. And also, like, you just end up throwing it in the drawer or whatever. Then you're like, I should charge it, but then you're like, I don't want.
I'm feeling horny. I better buzz down my
Like,
Johnson.
what if someone walks in here? They're gonna know, like, why is there? Like, I don't know.
What? You have the weirdest things in your head
you
about
don't want
someone
people
making
to know
judgments
that
about
you
you.
shave your pubes?
Okay, I can't even talk about that.
You're getting a little weird for me today.
You have a giant soapy butt pick in your bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't think the body shaver
Yeah, but
is going
that's
to be an
her.
issue.
That's her. That's not him.
When my wife hears that thing turn on,
She knows you're buzzing your
Yeah,
butt.
and
She
then-
knows you're horny.
then she's like, I hear what you're doing in there.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Don't think you're getting any
Yeah.
because
This
you
is
are a
psychologic-
D-head and
This
you
is
didn't even
psychological
tell me
abuse.
how beautiful I was today.
Just because you're
She
trimming your...
shames you for shaving your body?
Yeah, because she knows I'm
She's not
horny.
She's like, I know you're in there buzzing your Johnson. This is the crow speaking. I know you're in there. I can hear it. And I can hear it slowing down, and I hope it pulls every hair follicle out like an epilady. Because you are a D-head, and you did not tell me I'm beautiful this morning.
Or I don't know. She doesn't say anything, and then later on, when I'm
When
I'm
you present it to
I'm
her,
sitting
yeah,
on the couch, and then I'm like, I start rubbing her feet or
Oh,
something.
shave
She's
my
like,
Johnson.
I know what you want because I heard you in the
I heard you in there prepping your Johnson.
I am so confused by what she wants because she claims she wants to.
She wants me to be miserable, Sam.
Oh, okay.
Miserable.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know that to be true, but it seems apparent.
Should we? I mean, I honestly believe that we should talk to her about this. If she shames you for buzzing your
So,
She claims she wants to feel wanted, and then when you're trying to like rub her feet and shave your pubes,
Yeah, but no, but
then
she
she
wants-
doesn't want you to want her.
She wants she wants me to
You're gonna have to
love
shave
her.
your pubes in your shed.
She just doesn't. She doesn't. So, okay, well, I got there's something. Anyway,
This man's a prisoner in his own home.
Did I? Okay, I just said. I'm looking. I'm not looking at you, Tom. I can't. I'm looking at Sam.
Yeah.
I just said you're gonna have to shave your pubes in your shed. He looked at me as if to say, "I tried it and I failed."
Oh,
That's
no.
what I just heard.
no,
Did she catch you in the shed?
she wants.
Francis, his neighbor, called him. He came over. He came over to borrow an umbrella.
Listen, it's my fault. She wants me to be loving to her.
It's
when,
hard. Yeah,
when,
it's hard.
when I don't want sex. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
She doesn't want me to rub
Dude,
her feet when it's sex time.
That's hard for most
She
guys.
wants me to rub her feet when I'm
hard.
just watching TV.
I won't say most. It's hard for a lot of guys. I'll throw myself in that
So
category.
I can't rub her feet if she heard the trimmer because then she knows
Right.
it's not just random.
I understand.
Anyway,
That
back,
makes sense.
You know
back,
what?
huh?
You should just, come here on the weekend.
You got to get a suppressor. No, I don't want him shaving his pubes.
shave it
here.
over the toilet, flush it down.
I'll write that down
Oh, my
on
God,
the weekend.
I'm
I'm trying to help him out
I'm doing
here.
it at lunch.
Yeah,
No, not at lunch.
You know, you got a great producer. She's scheduling time for you to shave
Grooming.
your pubes at the studio.
and you got to clean up
Yeah.
afterwards, though.
Make sure
That's
you
part
put
of
on the
deal.
on-the-air light if you're doing it, so I know not to walk in.
So back to
What
why.
the hell are we doing?
I have no idea.
Back to why I want batteries
Okay,
because
yes.
inevitably I'll pick up the shaver
Ready
and
to go.
it'll be a quarter battery left, and
nothing.
then it's like, and then I'm like, no.
Yeah, then it's
Because-
yanking.
yeah, then
Then that thing's weird out. You yank my pubes.
you really, yeah. Bye bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha is here, and she has a stack of emails that are ready for your face.
Yeah.
Real quick, enter and get, I don't even have to enter, just submit a
Yeah.
form on the front of either tomanddan.com or the top of the BDM page.
Yeah.
But it's the get a free gift from True Leaf. I'm holding the True Leaf camo hat, mesh
Yes,
back
nice,
camo hat.
man.
And it's a super high quality hat you'll get for free.
Yes.
And along with a True Leaf bag filled with other goodies
All kinds
from
of
other
stuff,
sponsors. The free Double D
And it changes
Gringo
too.
Taco.
So just keep up, keep entering because the gift bag.
Yeah,
I talked to Eric.
We'll get new stuff.
Yeah, we
you know.
do. We rotate, and sometimes if he's feeling crazy, and let's say there's one, like it could
Like
be
a
a
rando,
pen or
yeah.
like a bottle. It could be anything. Could be something really
He'll
great.
throw it in there,
He'll
yeah.
just throw it in there. And I
And-
told him to do that. I was like, just be rando about it. Just like make people happy.
And I've seen some people in the BDM group ask where it is. If you look at the announcements that are pinned to the top of the page or in the group,
Good call.
It's in there. So
Okay. For me, it's just when I go to the BDM page, it's pinned to the top. Is that
Right,
all?
but sometimes you have to open the full announcements because
Yeah.
there's like 4 or 5 announcements that are all pinned to the
yeah.
top. So sometimes you only see the one that's been
I mean,
commented
I guess
on.
I could
Right.
take down my "I'm the best daddy" announcement that's up there.
Yeah,
I've had
it's
that
probably
up
about
there.
time.
I've had it up there since Maisie was born.
It's right on the front of tomanddan.com on the right-hand side, huge, so you'll see it if you want to go there.
One of the reasons I brought that up is I have a huge problem with new fathers receiving gifts when they become a father that like a mug that says "World's Greatest Dad," and I'm like,
You don't know
nah,
that yet.
thank you.
Yeah.
Jury's still out.
Right.
You know, you got a lot of influence to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
on that child before I'm going to hand you a blanket mug. Are you out of your mind?
And you could argue that a father's role should be a lifetime role, right?
Right.
Or
You only get that award on your deathbed.
unless your kids
Right.
die, and then it's like, all right, well,
then you failed.
At the time,
No,
you're
no,
right.
no, then
You
you failed.
Yeah, yeah.
I draw. I have a
Yeah,
hard
no matter
line on-
what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
what, you've instantly failed.
Yeah. Even if it's not your fault.
Why are we talking about this? My God, that one even got me, and I don't get. I don't get.
No.
Emails,
Okay.
Sam. Cleanse the palate.
Let's
Make us
cleanse.
forget we talked about that.
New Music Tuesdays. Hey, Dan, I hope you are doing best as you can with all that you are going through.
Aw, man.
I know you, Tom, and the rest of the T&D has brought me countless of hours of happiness and joy when I wasn't feeling either of those.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you.
So I'm going to try and send you new music that comes across my Spotify Discover Weekly playlist. Today's update is the band Crazy 88. It's as if Sam was a frontwoman for a hard pop punk band. They rock. I will see you again next Tuesday and keep sucking those teeth.
It's Crazy 88.
Crazy
right?
88. Yeah.
Well, it says Crazy 88, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, I think it's
So that's straight up from the Kill Bill movie, right? The Crazy 88. That's where they got the name of that band.
I'm gonna guess, yeah.
Yeah,
Do
probably.
you want to hear some?
I'm into it.
You want to hear a little Crazy 88?
Yeah.
All right. Here is
What is
a,
this, punk rock?
you know, I don't know. I'm gonna Crazy 8. It is Crazy 88, but I think they probably are
No, it says
crazy.
No, it says 88.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. You're right. He left his Y off. Sorry, I was reading fast. Let's try. What's their most popular track? We don't normally do this, but let's do.
Does it tell you most downloaded?
Yeah, you can look over here, and there's like a little
Okay,
guide
yeah.
that. Let's go with this one.
Most downloaded.
I found the answer in a ruin of obscurity. Remember me, the broken pieces of the puzzles that we share.
I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, like it's heavier. It's got a female front woman. All right.
Yeah.
I dig that.
I
Thank
don't
you,
know.
sir, for the suggestion.
It's kind of like a little bit of hardcore, right? Like melodic hardcore.
Maybe a little bit, but a lot of these bands lately
know.
that have been coming out, I don't know. Like I'm a little detached from independent music because most of my music I get through like pretty tried and true ways. I think if you're really going to be on the forefront of music, Spotify and Apple Music and and Amazon, that's just not going to cut it. You're going to need to like go on your SoundClouds. You're going to need to be in it. You know what I mean? And get some
Yeah.
of those up and coming indie and independent and just like there's new, like, I don't want to say mumble rap, but like lo-fi rappers and punk band. You're
Yeah,
going
it
to have
looks
to.
like they're a 3-piece.
Oh, that's cool. That's a big sound for a 3-piece and with a female, singer. Very cool. Does
So-
she play too?
I don't know.
They'd almost have to, right?
Okay,
She'd have to. Yeah, she'd have to.
So nowadays, if you're a band, if you should you just focus on being, and I know you should always done this, but in the past, I'll explain, there would be different ways to become successful. You didn't necessarily have to focus just on being the best.
Yeah.
Like there was other ways, because
Sure.
you could argue that in the past, it's not always the best band that rises to the top or whatever. It's not the, anyway, but now.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I don't think the best band. I mean, the best band very rarely.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can ever say. Most of the
Well,
bands
there's
that I look
subjectivity,
at and I
yeah.
go, oh my. Well, I'm just saying on pure talent.
Yeah.
Most people that I see that like how many times during your
popular.
life have you seen somebody like at, let's say when you were in school at Kendall in Miami, you knew a kid in high school that was so good at music that you're like, that guy is going to do something.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
But he could have.
That was like it in high school. There was a band called The Agency, And
So good, man.
And
I love that band.
in all our friend circles, like everybody had punk rock bands growing up.
You
and
guys
then
got me on that band.
They were the best, and everybody knew it. Like, wow, these guys are good. Like, they're super
Oh,
talented.
listen
you know?
to the albums even now. They hold up.
The guy, the drummer ended up. He's the drummer for the Avett Brothers
Yep.
right now,
and a
like,
couple
he-
other bigger bands. Like he used Avett to like, and now he's
Yeah.
playing with like basically the best of the best in American, like Americana styled music. That guy,
Yeah, and
Incredible.
And the other guys still play music, but I think he made it to the highest level, whatever. But it was like to be able. It didn't matter that they were the best. There were the only way to get your music to the masses back then in the '90s were to sell albums
CDs,
and then get radio play and then have some sort of label pick you up and promote
you needed
know?
distribution for sure.
And I think if they were a band now, all they would have to do is do their thing, be as talented as they are, and then put their music on Spotify because it would become popular because it was so good. You know what I'm saying? There was no way for them to expose their music to anybody besides from getting on a label, and then by doing and a lot of that is random chance or subjectivity of the label or the person making decisions, one person or a small group of people. Now it's like, hey, put it out on Spotify, put it out to the world, and will you eventually just be popular if you produce really well produced
That's what you'd
popular
hope,
music?
right? What do you think, Sam?
But
You
I guess
love
it's all
music
subjective
and-
though too.
It is all subjective, and it might depend on what you consider popular. You might be popular specifically with your genre, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
not going to be like on the radio. But you
Right.
might get tons of Spotify downloads.
But does it even matter to be on the radio?
No, it does
right?
not.
Okay, here's something new.
as long as
that-
you can get people to come out to your shows.
Correct. And here's
Buy your merch.
here's something new
Not
that
anymore.
I've been getting into
they're
that
coming back.
I normally haven't been this guy. Like I love punk rock music, I love rock music, I love hip hop, I love rap, right? But I've never really been an electronic music guy. I'm not anti at all. You know, music, I like music. You know, I like country music. But I've started listening to like chill down tempo or deep house like at night to kind of mellow me out. And I'm really digging it to the point where now I'm looking at the artist
Right.
and then going, all right, and liking them and then like collecting songs and go, oh, I like that guy's style and it is very, very different for me. But what I did notice is that they're all people and names that no one in my circle of friends would ever know who they are. I would bet my life, my daughter's life, that none of you guys would know who the hell these people are. But then when you look them up, to go along with what you and Samantha are both saying, they have
have their audience,
millions of followers.
Yeah.
But they're in such a tiny little area. They're not in just electronic music. They're in like down tempo, low, chilled out, relaxing like electronic music. But they're still huge in that area. It is it's mind blowing to me. And then you look up the guy, and he's extremely wealthy and famous and everything. But now he's just in his little lane, his little relaxing lounge music area of the world, and that's pretty neat. And when you think about it, I don't know if that guy would be able to distribute his new chill electronic music. Maybe he didn't live right now.
Speaking of electronic music, and then art, like I'll talk about that in a second. But the concerts, are people starting to do concerts again?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
some sort
I
of,
went to one last month.
What did it look like?
Weird.
Well, it's outside,
They're
so that
weird.
was good.
Mostly
but
outside.
it really depended on how you wanted to treat the process, right? There were some people that were all crowded together in the front, and then there were a lot of different individual
Just
groups
groups
standing
that-
in the field with their specific group they came with.
Gotcha.
But a lot of people are doing the online shows that you have to pay for, the streaming shows.
Yeah.
You know, they're making money that way though.
Even when Maisie did her winter showcase for her dance, it is a weird scenario. When you go to an event now, you go almost as a picnic gang. And you go into
pick your little spot.
Yeah, you pick your little spot and you put your
yeah.
little chairs down and you kind of, I know everybody's tired of this word, but you kind of quarantine off a little area that's yours. You have chairs and like a bag and a wagon or something. And then
hopefully people respect your space, which doesn't always happen. But
exactly. But yeah, I think most people are pretty cool about it.
I did notice, and I think Butler was the one that showed me this at the Dr. Phillips Center. They were having where they literally put little barricades around people So
Yeah.
only your party gets to stay in this one barricade, and then they have.
Well, they're
6
doing
feet
that
distance.
festival, you know,
Yeah.
and they're trying.
Where's my
to-
Planet Fitness hat?
You know what? I was just thinking that this morning. I was like, where is his Planet Fitness hat?
thought,
He hasn't been
Missed
wearing
it for a
but
while.
You wore the hell out of it on January 2nd, man. You were Mr. Planet Fitness.
So follow me with this logic.
Did you wear it on the first day?
So there's certain types of music that actually I think it's not. I'm not into this music, but you tell me. It enhances like the
Sex.
the experience of listening to it based on how you're listening to it and live,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
for instance, like EDM and stuff, I mean, like it's the festivals, it's packed
Well, I
together,
actually
no
like
shirt,
that.
bouncing.
I like that on headphones because you can hear every
Yeah.
little computer nuance. But I see what
but,
you're saying.
but there's
yes.
an element
The
of like
energy vibe,
you're
yeah.
on ecstasy, your shirt's off, and you're dancing.
and there's
packed,
crazy
you're-
lights,
yeah,
yeah,
and then like hardcore and stuff where like there's a certain
Collectively, we're all in this
You're
together. I'm
packed.
gonna lift you up, bro. Yeah.
You're packed and the energy.
Moshing.
And yeah, whether you're moshing or not, you're at least maybe packed into experiencing the hardcore.
I didn't mosh a lot, and I didn't. But you know what I
Now-
really used to like is when the crowd
The
would
sway.
just. Yeah, I used to love it when the crowd would just kind of move you around.
Yeah.
I'm so little that I was just like, here I go. I'm like a turtle.
But
you know,
there-
like where I'm
but-
going over here.
The most hardcore audience for those particular types of music, they like that. But
Yeah.
for if you go for like a Fish or like a
Like a jam band.
Yeah, you could be out in a giant
Oh, yeah.
field away from each other, just on your mushrooms
That's
and
true.
enjoying. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So then, like,
That's true.
It seemingly they can come back a lot sooner under the guides of.
It sucks for people that like indoor music. I'm an outdoor music guy. I know the sound's not good. If you can get the sound good, like a place
yeah.
like the St. Augustine Amphitheater, when I saw Casey Musgraves there,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
use that as my example. It's because it's a good one. That was like one of my favorite concerts. Outside, nobody around me. It wasn't during the pandemic. It was actually
Right.
before. But
Because that type of music
it was
is
a
conducive
corporate,
to that.
It was a
the
corporate
way you
gig,
consume
and it was
yeah.
undersold. You know, it was a private deal. I don't know how I StubHubbed my way in there. I don't think I was supposed to be there, but I'm there watching it, and I'm like, this is like awesome. And that was like the last thing I got
Yeah.
to do before all hell broke loose. you
Or
know?
even like a band like the Avett Brothers, like
I think
I've
they're
seen-
perfect for it.
Yeah, my wife's, we've gone through a
She
lot of
saw
their
them in
concerts.
Red Rocks, dude.
But that band you could easily just see out in the open, and the experience would be the same, because
Yeah.
you don't need to be packed in. So along that logic are the people, the EDM. I guess like the Steve Aokis of the world.
Yeah.
Are they gonna have the toughest?
I don't know. Yeah,
they
they might.
road back because
That's an excellent
how you gonna
question.
do an EDM festival spaced out if you needed to before everybody got vaccinated?
Well,
blah, blah, blah.
the sad fact is that, and Samantha and I think the three of us have actually talked about this before. The sad fact is that we're not really known for our festivals. Like festivals in the States have always underwhelmed me, and I
Oh,
think
Fest. I was supposed to go for the
Well,
first time last year.
Fest is different. I don't really even. I'm talking about large.
well, punk rock's another
but Europe,
genre.
But
than-
look at Europe.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Metal
Europe is
festivals,
festival
yeah.
land.
Yeah.
There was one time when I was gonna, Andrea and I were gonna try to go to Belgium to like go to this music festival. That basically it was a festival that had every band that we ever liked in our life at the festival. But they're gonna have the hardest time, right? Europe is.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not really. We're like an individual venue. Like we're the guys that everyone has a car. Like we're those guys. We're
Yeah.
not the guys that festivals
Yeah,
are
yeah.
life.
And
for us.
and
Especially
eventually
Orlando. We've had more failed
Well,
festivals
Florida's
in Orlando.
been getting a lot more in the past few years. Like we have the EDMs, we have what is the one, the Okeechobee
That one's huge.
one.
Yeah.
There's
That
I
was
was
the
gonna
one
say
that,
Hullabaloo,
that
but Hullabaloo was actually kind of its
Yeah,
own little festival. But
Hullabaloo.
there was
It
another
was
one.
it
I
was
can't
gonna
remember.
happen this year.
Hullabaloo was blanking dope, dude.
Yeah.
I had so much fun at that event. I mean, if the Thornton folks are listening,
Florida's like trying to start to be like
Yeah.
a festival state because a lot of bands don't come here anymore. So at least you'll get them for the festival, right?
And you could do it in the winter too,
Right.
where you can't do it in the winter up north. You know what I'm
Kind
saying?
of better
Yeah.
to do in
Now,
the winter
okay,
here.
It's
So going
like our
along-
winter's 65 high,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
people are like, "That's summer,"
Yeah, like
you
today,
could do a festival.
I mean, I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but I need a blanket.
is that
sweatshirt,
better in the
you know?
winter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever stood in a mud
Warped Tour in July.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Wow, that's the
worst.
worst.
Now, answer your question, Mr. Van.
Yeah.
How many Florida real men that maybe missed the boat on the old medical marijuana and that money train are going to open up professionally controlled and organized outdoor venue spaces with premium sound to pull these type of concerts
That'd be
off.
great.
Is anybody going to do that?
Yeah. Well,
Or are we just going to assume
We're going to accept the bare
that-
minimum, probably.
Or are we going to assume that we will go back to exactly the way it was before? Which, by the way, guys, that's not
I
going to
think
happen.
people are
Well,
still thinking that right now.
I don't think it's going to be exactly the same. I just think I just can't see that.
well, I think. Oh yeah, who knows? But,
I can't see it being exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there will be a fundamental change no matter what.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point. Like if there's so much farmland around here and just fields.
Well, you
like if-
could do it in the strawberry patches and do both. I mean, you don't have to run concerts all year.
Right.
I mean, you run them when you can.
Well,
run.
you build the or you just set up the stage and the sound, and then you just run it there. But the problem is like how many people spread apart can you fit in the field and still make money?
You got to do it like Dr. Phillips, though. I think you got to. You got to make it idiot-proof. You got to make the lines.
Yeah.
You almost have to do everything for them.
Yeah.
Right?
But
For
then
sure.
you always
People are not responsible.
It's
No.
they're gonna do that move to you where they show like all the people in the squares or whatever, and then they're gonna pan over and show
Yeah,
the
you're
million
right.
people
Right.
Yeah.
packed together in a line, and then they're gonna be like, "See, like
but
Doesn't work.
You may have just
You're
answered.
like, yeah.
You may have just answered why this isn't going to happen. Check this out. All right, so let's say they had the line was spaced out, the squares are drawn on the farmland, it's ready to go, and then up on the stage you got the Avett Brothers, it's good to go. To the side, you're going to have the people that didn't buy tickets that because sound travels and it's not indoors.
Yep.
That are all congregated like
Yeah.
pseudo
Free concert.
yeah, right.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I don't
if
know.
the-
I'm
well,
just
you gotta-
talking out my butt.
Here's the thing: you got to decide what your intent is. Your intent is to make money and have concerts. This is the way you do it. It's just like
Right.
This is the way.
The
I
whole
see what you did
world
there.
just realized, like all business realized, like, can I just do my business with everybody wearing masks? Okay, good. And then so
the less amount of work they have to do. Yeah.
it's just whatever is the
bare minimum.
Hold on a
yeah,
second.
whatever.
To pass.
Well, yeah. So what's your intent? Is your intent to
We have done Weird Job Wednesday for how long?
Oh, I don't know. Longer
Couple
than I've
years?
been the full-time producer.
Couple
so.
years. Let's say
Really?
3 years. Yeah, it's
You guys started
It's
that
been way
before
too long, dude.
me.
We just kind of set it and forget
Not
it. and,
before me, but before I was full-time producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were doing that.
Yeah,
it's been like 3.
Although I don't
years,
think
4
you,
years?
I don't think you did it weekly like you do now because I don't think Lee was as dedicated to getting people every
whoa.
week.
we always did job stuff, but we did.
Well, we're
weird
obsessed with jobs.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we did.
but
Maybe
in
we
our
did.
Twitch
How
chat
much do you
room-
make? Oh,
in our
yeah.
Twitch chat room, and she's never said this before. Tracy says, I was already there. I worked Woodstock 96.
I've seen her mention that before.
We've never talked to her
Didn't
about
she say she slung cheesesteaks at the Woodstock, right? Isn't that what she
I don't
said?
think I've
Have
ever
we
talked to her
about
about that.
I remember.
I still don't know what Tracy actually does.
She works for Dice Man.
I remember.
I know, but I don't know what she
Nobody
does.
knows.
Yeah, the party patch, and there's a thing, and
Yeah.
Dice Man's crazy.
Oh, man,
cuckoo
that
banana
guy,
ideas.
that guy's nuts.
But so the Woodstock '96, I remember watching it. I was in, I think I was a freshman in high school.
Now, another person in the Twitch chat room asked if this was about the time you were the trumpet player in the Heterosexual Lesbians.
No, that
which was your ska band, and they wanted to know.
That was like '94.
Okay.
So
That's
It was
when
Woodstock '94. Yeah.
oh, it was Woodstock '94.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she
okay,
said
yeah,
90.
there
There was
was a
also
time
there was
there.
also a Woodstock '99. If you guys remember that one too.
Which is the one, the Green Day?
That
and
was
Mark?
94.
That was 94, where they surfed on the plywood. Yeah.
Which is the one where they started burning everything down?
No.
That was
94.
'99.
I thought that was 94.
I don't know.
94 is the mud and then the fight with Green Day.
Yeah. Which was just the,
'99 was Limp Bizkit.
And was that?
Oh, maybe I'm
was
way
that-
wrong then.
There was which is the one?
Which is the one where Limp
They
Bizkit-
burned it, and then everyone was yelling about the $8 waters or whatever. Like they were mad because basically they just made 99.
99
Yeah,
was
don't
the fire.
listen to anything that I say. I get
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
that has a
Yeah, they
date
burned
attached
everything to
it
the ground.
wrong.
'99.
Yeah, because everybody's mad that they made it corporate. It was like, what did you expect?
Oh,
Of
Tracy
course
said
it-
she left before it started burning down, but she still has her vendor pass. That's pretty cool.
It's funny that like a bunch of companies got together and like, let's do a Woodstock memorial or whatever. And then they do it, then everybody's like, you're selling $8 waters, because they do it like just like every other concert that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And everybody's mad because they're like, the original Woodstock in the 60s is free and free drugs. And you're like, what?
Nothing like it.
What did you think? Like, it's not the 60s. And then who's Live Nation's putting it? Whoever, you know what I'm saying? Like $1 billion corporation's putting this on and paying Green Day $1.5 million or whatever to play this is money.
Have you guys-
you paid $80 to get in here.
Have you guys ever been to a festival show that well, we're up against a break. Should we
Okay.
take it and then come back and
Yeah,
we can continue this? And Tracy said, do I need to call again? And then apparently you and I have a reputation of telling our listeners to call, and then when they call, we yell at them. And
Right.
And then when we get back, I'll tell you how much I hate festivals.
Okay, yeah, all right. I
Oh,
want to get
man.
into that. All right, we'll take. All right, stop.
Welcome back to a corporate time.
I just don't even believe it's real.
I'm about to
It
PayPal
doesn't-
him the money for a new fog
But
machine.
I-
and then it's going to be like, well, why did you just go buy a new one to begin with? You idiot.
I have tears in my eyes because people, I really enjoy my job. I love it. I'm having a fun time today for whatever reason. I'm in a good mood, got a lot of sleep. But there are things that you say, Tom, that I just don't even believe that they're real. You keep saying that you borrowed a
What's
fog.
You have a
Crazy.
collection of goods.
It's crazy talk.
We have a lady on the line. We're
Yeah.
going to get to our bid here in a second. But before the break, or during the break, we're talking about this fog machine you borrowed from a very, very, very good friend of the show who has who has literally given us
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Up to, I'm going to this is a low estimate with his charity times that he's kicked in
Oh,
money
oh,
for
yeah.
Yellow Brick Road and all of that. I'm going to say this guy's in at least between $7,000 to $10,000 on this program.
Yeah, I would say over 10.
And you borrowed
Yes.
his fog machine for your haunted house for your son
in October.
in October.
Yeah.
And then you were going to give it to other listeners to return, and you still have it in your garage, and you just won't return it. And
I will. No, my intention.
See, this is where I start
to-
getting mad at you talking about intentions.
No,
Because if you
now
really
I understand.
intended to
Well,
do it, you
what the-
do it.
It's
no,
how I
he's all
justify
about
it,
intent. He's like, I'm not racist. What was the intent of me saying
Yeah,
that?
see, now I got to get
Yeah,
off
yeah.
board
I think
with
I
this.
understand.
Yeah, maybe
now.
I'm right. Maybe I am racist. Or so-
I ain't giving it.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
I mean, well, that's
I'm
one way
joking.
that's one way to shut us
I'm
down.
joking. But yes, it's horrible that I haven't returned it yet. It's just because now it's hard for me to return because I don't.
Because there's nothing in it for
There's-
you.
yes,
We know
that's
you're
it, that's
selfish.
it.
We know.
It's
It's
hard
not-
for
I
me
mean,
to do something
what
if it's
if-
for other people.
Why? Okay. Why don't we take
What's wrong
it?
with that?
What if we boxed it up and mailed it?
I
and
thought
then
about
we
My
that.
just-
God, it's going to cost so much money to
It
ship
is,
that
but
thing.
hey, we're just gonna take it out of your check.
I don't trust that I'll do it.
I've thought about that because I was like, well, what does it cost to mail this thing back to Tactical Hat? And I was like, it's probably going to be like $60, even from here.
Yeah,
to
but
Bicklow.
I think that $60
Because it's heavy.
it would make me feel better.
Do I drain out the fog liquid because it's cheaper?
Oh,
but
God.
it's still
You can't mail it with
You can't
liquid
mail it with
inside.
the liquid inside.
Yeah,
You're
if
not
you-
supposed to. I
if
mean,
you
Right,
bring
right,
you bring
you
a box,
can.
they don't
I mail
look-
bombs all
They're
the
like,
time.
is there something in
I'm
there?
kidding,
I'm like,
I'm
no.
joking.
Don't tell them it's blood in there. I've done that before. They get real mad. I mean, I told you about that, right? The time we mailed the Grizz's blood.
Maybe we should go to our guest.
Is
I
he-
feel like
Sorry.
this is going off the rails.
Is something wrong with you today, man?
They were like,
'Cause-
you can't. Then they put a
He hasn't been getting any sleep.
okay,
It
well,
was for an AIDS test.
Oh, man.
all right, on the
It's not
line.
that funny.
Here, just listen to this.
He
Here.
didn't have AIDS.
Here we go.
That's good.
Or at least I didn't ask him.
My God.
Spending time on the radio. I really like the Tom and Dan show. Time to learn of what I'm missing. The next segment is the girl I'm kissing. ChriStreama. Ah la la la, ChriStreama. Ah la la la, ChriStreama. Ah la la la, ChriStreama. We love you on the Tom and Dan show.
ChriStreama, are you there?
Yes. Are you uncomfortable?
Yes, I am. Only.
See, he made me delete that song.
No,
but,
I know,
But then
didn't
I
you?
went on a different.
No.
I went on a different computer and I found it.
Yay.
Full transparency, ChriStreama, we had a talk right before the holiday. We're like, hey, what happened to ChriStreama? And then we came up with this theory that your husband got mad
This
that
is
we
true.
that we were joking around about your intro song,
Yeah.
and then he banned you from
Yeah.
ever coming back
I
on the
remember
show,
that, yeah.
and then told you to stop listening, and then you did it, and we were never going to hear from you
Because
again.
we have actually had listeners who get into the BDM area.
Yeah.
And
This is true, yeah.
And then they start cheating on their wives. I'm just I'm just being real, man. Look, we didn't.
Lot of infidelity.
I didn't start a show to be like, let's see if I can f up everybody's life. I started a show to just try and put a small smile on your face while you're in your car. That's it. But then they start doing all this bad stuff, and then they get banned, and you can't listen, and you can't come to the events, and all this garbage, and that's what we thought happened to you. We
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that you.
No.
Yeah, so your husband didn't get mad that we were clowning on.
No,
Okay,
not
okay.
at all.
All right.
In fact, he's a VDM, but I listen more. I'm more of a dedicated listener than
Okay.
he is.
Oh yeah,
but-
that's why we like you more.
Yeah, we like you more.
Yeah.
I knew I hated that song. I'll write a better one for you, and I'll take that one and wipe my butt.
Okay.
Okay. What
All
are
right,
we What are we streaming this week?
Okay, so I picked two. One that is very, very well produced and very good, and you probably have already heard of it. And then some garbage, like
All
we
right.
always like some trash.
I love it.
So the first one, you know how Netflix kind of tricks you now and just starts playing something?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
What do you mean? What is that?
Okay, the reason I don't like it isn't for probably the reason you guys don't like it. A lot of people, like Netflix, when you're scrolling through, and I believe you can turn it off. I think you can turn that feature off.
Well,
I may
I
be
want
wrong.
to turn it off then.
But when you go through and you just hover on something,
Perhaps
let's say,
you want to read the summary
Oh,
or
it just
something.
starts playing? Okay.
It'll
yeah.
just start playing, and I don't
Yeah.
like it. I don't like it because I like to be ready when something starts.
Same.
Yeah. Okay, good. It is the same reason. A lot of other people don't like it because they're like, well, I don't want to watch that. I just want to read the thing. For me, it's just like it's an organizational thing. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier about when I go to do like when I put that exhaust pipe on my Honda Ruckus.
Yeah.
I like to lay the exhaust pipe out, all of the tools I need. I like to get my beer ready. I like to put a cloth out so
Yeah.
you don't scrape the.
They're all about the prep.
Yeah, I like the prep part of it. So anyway, I don't like that aspect of Netflix when it just starts playing. But anyway, what is the show, ChriStreama?
It is called Bridgerton.
Yeah.
And
Keep
I
hearing
would
about this
never,
one.
Yeah, I would never normally pick this show. I'm not into like romantic. You guys know I like horror movies and scary and funny and but it just started playing and I started watching it and I got sucked in and this show, you guys, is fantastic and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, sell me on it.
There is a particular thing that was mentioned on another show. I won't name the person that said that she was listening to erotic fiction in the car. This is essentially like that, but it's not super nudie or anything like that. It's based in London
Soft
in
porno?
1813. It's not porno, but it's
Okay, hold on.
You know,
It's
I'm gonna
like
have a
erotic
ChriStreama.
fiction. It's like Fabio, like that type of deal.
I'm going to have a problem with this, and I'm actually texting my wife now to see if she can call in because we had a knockdown, drag-out argument about this show
What's it called? Bridging?
because it is straight porno.
it is not. It's about a woman
This
coming of
is
age
Oh,
and
yeah,
her
this is the
sexuality.
show
This
I
is
was
to get
telling
girls
Tom
horny,
about.
right?
This
Yeah,
is the
I'm
show.
in.
I was
50 Shades thing.
This is the show I was telling you about where and it's inclusive. So and that's the coolest part about it is that you get like really good actors and it's not just all
Yes.
white people. They do history
Yeah.
and then they just scatter everybody in there. It's better that it's just better that way. And
Absolutely.
And this one lead guy is like a really good looking black guy. And
Oh
he
my God,
is
he's
just
gorgeous.
banging that girl on the ladder, off the ladder, in the bed, on the piano, up the piano, down the piano, flip the ladder.
Do they show
over,
nudity?
Back. Oh, dude.
Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah,
And-
this
and-
is 50 Shades of Grey,
And
right?
so I'm sitting there with my wife, who, by the way, had just turned me down for sex, right? And I'm on my iPad. I'm on my iPad
That's why you're
reading
mad.
news, and I'm listening to what I always listen to, like an old pop-up. I'm listening to Lagwagon and my Lazy Boy, and I'm reading the news. And my wife had just turned me down for sex, and then I look up on the TV, and she's watching this guy bang crazy. I'm like, you're going to watch that? Yeah, you can
You
have
should
the
have let
real-
her watch that first, then yeah.
Yes,
I didn't
Sam is correct.
I didn't say
I've
it
been
was-
waking my husband up in the middle of the night.
All
Like, it's like,
right, ChriStreama.
oh my goodness. It got into my soul. Like, I was just like, ooh.
All right, I'm
Lit
gonna
a fire
watch
in
it.
me.
Okay, maybe I did.
Did it wrong.
I
Did it
wrong.
backwards.
I do a lot of things wrong, Sam. A lot wrong.
So the 50 Shades of Grey phenomenon, basically, these are the offshoots of that, right? Like they realize
think it's
there's a
as
I
market.
did
extreme
not
as
watch
that.
that. I don't
I think
like
it's more of a
that. I
love
don't like
story.
romantic shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
this
not-
is more of a. It's different. And like women, we get into our brains. You know, like we have to get into like. That's what like we were talking about, like listening to erotic fiction or something. It
Yeah.
gets you in that mode where you want to make love to your husband, your loved one, or whatever. And so this show, it takes a few episodes. You have to watch it for a little while, but the sets are very elaborate or very beautiful. It's very lavish, and it's very, very. It just gets
Oh, I
you
thought
into
you
it.
died of an orgasm.
I know it's
Makes you horny.
ACT, but like, but literally, yeah, it makes you horny. It makes you horny. It makes women horny. Okay. This
Yeah,
is-
yeah, I
Well,
wasn't-
it did for my wife. It caused an argument. I'm yelling at her because I texted my wife to see if she could call the show because this show was a problem. But apparently I did it wrong. I guess I should have let her
Yeah.
watch the episode. And then what do I do? Go, how was your episode? Like, what do you do?
Just wait for her. Just wait for her to wake you up in the middle of the night. That's what I did.
Oh,
and
she's
my
calling.
husband was like, okay.
ChriStreama, I'm gonna pull Andrea up at the same time you're on the line. Okay, so just you'll hear
cool.
A. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on. Hey, babe.
Hey.
Bridgerton is the show that we got in the knockdown, drag out argument about because you had turned me down for sex and then I caught you watching your pornos.
Why does it make you horny? What is it?
No, she wasn't horny. She
Tell me
turned down
why.
sex, but then she's watching this Bridgerton, and then this gorgeous black guy is bang crazy on a ladder, and it was uncomfortably
I
long.
gotta
It was like
watch
a
this.
9-minute
Well,
bang session.
Well, hold on. I watched that, and then
Right?
it doesn't seem like my wife. What is it specifically, ChriStreama, Andrea? What is it? Is it the guy is like romantic? Like, what is it about these
Well, I wanna-
style of like
Romance.
romance
It's
novel
romance.
style? What is
So
it?
it is
Yeah.
the romance. It's
Andrea,
not necessarily the
What does
sex.
that mean?
Is that the show?
Did he watch this show?
What does romance mean? I don't know. Someone tell me.
Wait, no. I want to know. You said did you watch this show with your wife?
No, I've never seen it. But she.
I think Dan has seen a few scenes.
She's-
right?
I saw enough scenes to know that I
Right,
wanted
well,
to
no,
yell at
okay.
my wife.
Let me start from the beginning. So, I watched this. It came out on Christmas, and like you have to think about. It's funny because a lot of they didn't talk that there were these sex scenes in it, and so people sat down like with their families on Christmas to watch Bridgerton because it's from Shonda Rhimes. There was no discussion of the kind of graphic sex scenes. And then, so I'm at the 6th episode. Dino has no interest in it. I'm at the 6th episode, and he walks in during these people get married.
After
they are going at it,
All
like
right.
everywhere, in the garden, in the library. And I was like, he couldn't have walked in, like, second episode, seeing that it's a beautiful period drama.
Ew.
Andrea.
Hold on. All right, now we're talking.
Oh my god.
Tom's into that. They call him Red Wings fan. It's funny though. Like you guys probably think I'm kidding. I
hell are we doing?
wanted to have adult fun time with my wife. She wanted to watch TV, right? So
I wanted to watch the story.
Yeah,
like
she-
I was really invested in the story. It's an adaptation of a book. It's just, and so to answer TC's question, it's just a really
It is good.
good
It's good.
story. Shonda Rhimes is behind it, who's an excellent producer, and the costumes were, beautiful.
And let's
the
just be
actors-
honest,
Is that
Andrea.
what makes you horny? What
No,
makes you horny?
I'll be honest. It's the black guy. He's gorgeous.
I heard
Okay,
that.
there you go.
Is that it?
Is that what you wanted to hear?
Well,
I'm not watching this
not
show
just
to
the
like
black guy.
get off or be horny or anything. I didn't even know who was in there. I'm watching this show because there's chemistry between these characters and it's the story and I love period dramas. I love like anything British. And so I was really into it. And then of course, episode 6 is you know,
I don't
they
know
get
why I'm
married.
married. It's weird that I even have a wife that we can call on the show.
Yeah,
Andrea,
is she your nurse?
Andrea, did
She's
you-
your nurse, right? You were wealthy. All this is a facade.
you just became a real
Macy's
Walmart
an
person.
actress.
You're like, hey, you wealthy. That's
Oh,
your
hold
nurse.
up. Macy's a little person. This is all of a sudden.
Oh, like the orphan?
That's a nurse. Andrew's a nurse. Macy's a little person.
Okay, Chris.
You're a little person.
Okay.
What's happening?
ChriStreama has a question for Andrea. Yes, ChriStreama.
Yes, Andrea, did you know that those two worked with an intimacy coordinator for weeks
Well,
before they
I
did
didn't know
these
that they
scenes?
worked with them, but you could totally tell their chemistry was amazing.
Yes.
So I think it
yeah.
totally makes sense.
But what? Okay, hold on. I understand
Okay,
that
now, guys,
no one ever knows.
He's gonna circle talk
You're
here,
gonna tell
and
me
he's
about my life right now?
No.
Oh,
I
damn.
just want to know about romance because the number one thing Crystal gets mad at me about is I'm not romantic and I'm not like any of these guys.
And the number one thing my wife gets mad about is probably a little bit of the same because I just want to go straight to the banging, and I want it all the time. And Andrea probably
All the time.
wants some. Well, you didn't need to put an explanation point. So I want it all the time, but she probably wants me to, I don't know, dress up in a three-cornered hat and put you on a ladder.
So
No,
what?
it's not that. It's
What are
not
these
that.
guys
It's like,
doing?
It's the build up to it. Like you have to watch a few episodes to get it, but it's just this. And I am not a romance novel or a romance watcher of movies, but you have to give it a little while. My husband did not watch it with me, so I watched it by myself. But I would tell you something. It started a fire in my house.
Right.
Seriously.
Wait,
Why'd you get so horny? Build up
the
on
door.
what is
So,
it?
I got
Like went on a
build
couple
up. I
days.
got build up in my arteries because I'm dying from bad health.
But what is that?
I'll be dead soon. Have sex with me.
Like the guy romanced her, but what does that mean? I don't know. Like tell
I
me
can't
exactly
explain
what to
romance to you.
You're not a
Maybe watch the show and pick up some
No,
tips.
but everybody's like,
Maybe
I
your
can't-
wife will get horny.
Wait, pause. Okay, wait. So the characters really play hard to get in the beginning. So maybe you and your wife should like take some time apart, like you don't like each
They
other. And
only
like,
do things-
yeah.
They only do things as a squad
doesn't help
family.
us. Yeah.
Everything together, even sleeping.
We've been digging
the-
into this
the
week.
key
You
is
guys
that-
are a squad.
Yeah, the key is to do things separately. I'm in. But is that going to make her horny like
Yes, you
go
need to,
ChriStreama?
like, yes, you need to want each other. You need to want each other. Like if you're together all the time, there's no like you're just with each other so much that you don't want that person. And so these two characters, they like didn't like each other in the beginning, and they were just doing it to put on a show, and then they ended up spending time together, and then they liked each other. So you know, the want and the need.
Andrea, let me ask you a serious question.
Spoiler.
If I had not gotten angry, I am exaggerating about the argument, but we did we not?
Yeah, no, you were mad. You were mad at what I was watching, so I turned it off and I went to the other room.
Well, then you turned it back on, and then I know what you did. But like, if I had waited, not said a word at the end of that, and then came over, and then like, I don't know, if I'd paid attention and stolen one of the lines he said and said, "May I have this dance, my lady?" and then started rubbing your shoulders, would that have worked?
Probably.
All right.
I guess I did do it wrong.
So
See?
you walk in and you say,
it's
"May I
hard
have
to
this dance?"
explain
You
that.
rub shoulders and all that. Tell me exactly what
I'll
to
write
do.
you a romance manuscript.
All right, babe, I'll let you go so we can finish with ChriStreama, okay? I love you.
Bye, Andrea.
I love you.
All right, ChriStreama said bye.
All right, ChriStreama, what else do we got
else
here?
you got?
Okay, so besides that, and I just want to say one more thing. Like, Tom, I don't think you understand, like, women's sexuality is in the brain. Like, it's not... That's why there's no male strip club
You get in
that
there.
people go to. You know?
I thought the thing was sealed up.
you lick the
It's
bottom or
like
top.
The words will go in and out.
It's like a mental thing, you know what I mean? Like, for women.
we know.
So I watched the show, and I was like, oh, I love my husband so I want him right now. You know what I mean? So
I don't think my wife has ever uttered that phrase.
I like
I
to
think they have
replicate
different
what
relationships.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go on. Let's
Yeah.
move on
Let's
here.
move on because I'm getting
Yeah,
sad.
Okay, Tom's really uncomfortable, so let's move
No,
on.
he's really
So-
just bummed out.
Aw. Have your wife watch the show. She's good for you.
Yeah, but
Okay,
then if I
so,
suggest, she's like, I know why you're suggesting this.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
the
my
trimming.
God.
I heard you trimming your pubes. I know
And
what
now
that
you want me to
means.
watch the show? I know what it's
That's
for.
like you're you're lighting the world's most
Hypervigilant.
disgusting fuse.
I know she's hyper vigilant, but just let her maybe, casually suggest it to her. I don't know. But the next show is complete garbage, and I love it. And it's on Tubi once again. I'm not done with my, reality shows.
It's amazing
So-
you're still on the Tubi because I feel pretty confident that Tom and I both agreed you would be out of there.
Or that it'll be a company that won't exist in a year.
Yeah.
I'm still on it. So there is this guy that it's a spinoff from a character that was on the New York show, and his name is Frank the Entertainer, and he has a show that I strongly suggest you watch, and it's called Frank the Entertainer, A Basement Affair.
All right. Frank
Is
is
Frank the Entertainer the guy that's like short and fat with a black T-shirt?
No, he's hot. He's like a shaved head, and he's Italian. And
I see
he's
a pattern
good-looking.
here, ChriStreama.
Okay, so this
A
guy.
lot of hot guys in the shows you're watching.
So you
this
go
guy's
to
like
your
a
own
Jersey
room and
Shore-
you shut the door and you lock it and then you watch your pornos without your hubby.
Okay, so what
No,
is
I
Frank?
like porno just like everyone else, but I mean, there's just something deeper about like a love story. I don't know.
All right,
But-
we're gonna
but-
watch
What
Frank the
is
Entertainer for a second, just to see.
Here's
if
a
we're-
little bit of Frank.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
Oh,
the
it's-
big-
He fancies himself like a Frank Sinatra singer, and he's not.
Oh my
All right, here we
god.
go.
At all.
This came out in 2010, by the way.
Oh my
Took
God.
whole
Home to
10-year-old
Wall Street,
reality show.
Madison Avenue, and movers and shakers like Donald Trump. Some people
That
say
held
That
up
aged
well.
well.
Oh man, that's a bad reference. That is not a good reference.
and ready to take on the world.
Frank!
And then there's Frank.
What are you doing down there? Who's down there with you?
Nobody, Ma. Do you need to know everything?
Is this your underwear I found in the kitchen?
No.
You sure you don't have some girl down there in my house? Frank!
Ma! What?
Don't yell at me, Frank!
So he lives in his mom's basement?
Okay, so
I got the
it's
vibe.
story of an Italian guy that lives in his mom's basement, and then she
He
yells.
doesn't really live in the basement, though. He actually, I looked it up, and that is his parents. Those are his parents. But he lives in a house down the street. He didn't really live in the basement.
Whoa.
I love that you did research on this reality
Look at
show.
that. We got a
10
regular.
years old.
We got a streaming detective
Yeah,
here.
Dreaming detective.
I'm virtually comfortable with saying that any reality show that anybody watches at any time that ever existed, you could look at it and be certain that it's fake.
Yeah, you can size it up, and if it's
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
you can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you may be wrong 0.001% of the time, but the rest of the time you'll be right.
Now, how much of this particular older 2010 reality show have you watched on Tubi or Tubely?
I'm about on episode 8.
Why? ChriStreama, why do you like it? Because to me, this is the most nightmare thing I could possibly
You
think
knew
of.
Tom was going to ask that.
Because it's not
The
only
reason-
garbage, but it seems to me it's fake, unentertaining garbage from
I like it.
narcissistic,
Can I ask a few
Yeah, but you
questions?
just make fun of the people.
I
That's
wanna-
why it's
chemically
fun.
imbalanced people.
Yeah, exactly, Sam.
I need to know
I'm with
how
ya.
you're watching ChriStreama. Are you drunk or high when you're watching?
I don't get high, but I do like to drink when I watch it.
Okay, let's say you're at the end of the first episode you're watching. How many drinks in are you?
Just one.
Okay, are you on the couch or bed?
On the couch with my cuddle bugs, my dog.
It's weird that you like the show. I was looking for
Look,
something
I love
there.
trash reality TV too, so I can't hate.
It's trash.
Yeah.
It's complete trash. And all the girls are like from upstate New York, and they're all like or Boston or something like that. So they
It's a
all
train
talk,
wreck.
and
It's
his
just watching a
mother,
train wreck.
his mother cracks me up because his mother is there for everything. They're in his parents' house, and it's their actual house. Like, I looked it up, and the mother's like, "Not in my house. I don't want no hanky-panky. She's in heat. She needs to get a fire extinguisher."
Oh, I like the little catchphrases.
But
yeah.
it's just
Not in my. Yeah, I love that.
they just film like the mom. She's just standing there, and then the producer just feeds her line after line so they can cut them in. The
I
whole
don't
thing.
think so. I don't think so. I think these are authentic parents. Like,
ChriStreama, you just said that he didn't really live in his mom's basement.
yeah,
so
but that's his real parents.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, so
he
it's
lives down the street.
I mean, you're kind of picking and choosing what's real here, like the Bible. You can't.
the whole
do
show,
that.
I imagine. Listen, I just wrote the whole show in my head now. The whole show is this guy, this
Why
Italian
don't you
guy.
write a reality show and make it big?
He's
Tom?
in, he's in one right now, right? I mean,
Your life would be a great reality show.
But the
it
problem,
would be.
the
It
problem,
would.
the problem with all reality shows is you keep having to up the ante every
All
single
the
time,
craziness,
and
yeah.
then at a certain time
like Clear
after
Channel web numbers.
after the 15th episode, the stuff you're doing is so absurd that it's so far from reality that it's become stupid.
You know, the one that I will say, and I don't know how they were able to do it, other than the fact that I think they just don't take themselves too seriously, and the personalities all kind of work, is Chris Lee Knows Best.
Oh God!
I have
my wife watched that. That's pretty garbagey, dude.
It's
I
very
like that.
it's very garbagey, but it because they never go. It's hard to explain. It's almost like they know what they are, and I think when you do, you're all right.
You're the best reality show when you know where you are, and then you're just exaggerating your own personality enough to make it entertaining. But that's your personality.
It's not
but
great.
It's like a radio personality, or
Sure,
But just
we kind of do it.
It's like Terry Bradshaw's show.
the problem is this is maybe insane, but every time I watch those, like is it Chrisley or Chrisley?
Chrisley.
And any other reality show that's filmed
Charlie.
in a house, I'm like, whose house is that well lit? Like that's what distracts me is how well lit the house is.
No wonder you can't have fun.
I know.
Your brain's broken.
I'm like, look at this guy's kitchen. Everything, there's no shadows.
I was having.
Sure. Well, look at that. You're like, why is everything so well lit?
Tom's like, my whole life is full of shadows.
That's how insane I am.
I got so high a couple of nights ago. I was having a problem because I was looking at Andrea and I kept going, "That is Bill Burr in Mandalorian," and she's like, "I know." You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
you're trying to convince her of something she already knows.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
By the way,
anyway, I think
a little distracting. Did you have to use Bill Burr?
Yeah. Can you use somebody that looks like Bill Burr?
He was good. It was good.
You need a redhead? Use John Reap. He's fine.
Every time I see him, I'm like, Bill Burr.
Yeah,
Like, it's just-
exactly.
that's
And then
too
he
hard.
started doing a political rant while he's driving under the cave. All right, so
And then with the
ChriStreama-
mask on, I'm like, oh.
Well, then he walked in with his mask off,
Fuck
right?
you.
That's the only problem I have with the Mandalorian so far. He walked in with his mask off. I'm like, put your damn mask on.
He took his mask off?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Spoiler
yeah.
alert.
Oh, great.
Well, hey, ChriStreama, great job. I liked everything that you suggested except for the second show. Bridgerton, I think.
I'm going to check out Bridgerton.
I think Tom would like to watch that with, should have been named Jizzerton.
That's all I think about.
I think the wife should watch it alone. Personally.
Well, that's just because
Of course,
yeah.
because these shows are garbage for men. It doesn't make us horny. Like, maybe the sex scenes are like, oh, yeah, but if it goes on too
But
long.
it gets you in the mood, and then you'll like wake your husband up.
I'm always in the.
night.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like,
for
"I'm
women,
down
yeah.
for
It's
whatever."
not enough to get you in the mood. I saw bits and pieces, and the girl just a little bit of boobs, a little boob out, a little boob here.
Men don't need.
Dude, it's the
get in the
love
mood.
story. You don't understand. Like, it's a build-up. It's a build-up. It's a build-up. And that's like, when it finally happens, you're just like...
Yeah, love does
Oh
not
my
make me
God,
horny.
I love
Doesn't
it.
make me horny at all.
Yeah, but for girls, for women, it does. But for men, they don't. You know, we.
Yeah,
could,
but when
they're
your
always in the mood.
woman, like, jumping on you in the middle of the night, turn you on...
That has never happened and never will happen.
It will.
And if
It
that
happened to
no,
me.
that'll never
Hey.
happen. No, we have a sooner I will be starting center for the Orlando Magic next year with a $45 million contract.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Streama, we got to let you go. But hey, great job. And please tell your husband that we're
Alright.
sorry we created a false narrative created around him and what he thinks of our program.
Dude, he's super confident. He's totally fine with it.
I know what that is.
So,
That's the BDE, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's
Shouldn't
that?
be, well, how con?
No.
You don't know what BDE is?
Well, she watches 10-year-old reality shows.
That's true. That's true.
She's out of the loop a little
That's
bit.
your homework.
It's like
B energy.
BDM, but
BD.
the E is energy. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
Oh, I got you. He does have that.
Oh.
Yeah, he does. So.
Well, that's why
All
you're
right,
horny,
well,
not the
I
show. Myth busted. Okay. We love you. Bye.
All right, love you too. Bye.
She's so sweet. Shout out to Charlie the dog, who I heard him. He was barking at the tail end of that.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about festivals. Butler's in here. He's he's traveled around with fish and
has he?
God.
Yeah, he's done
let's
the whole
see,
thing. Yeah.
Let's see what he was able to cook up in the old lie creator.
How dare you?
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, Samantha, and Butler. We're all in the studio to chop it up, as the kids say.
So
I don't think they say that
I don't
anymore.
think they do.
I do. Did they? Do
No,
they?
I said I do.
Oh, yeah.
People used to say that.
So
Let's grab a cup of coffee, man. Chop it up.
we're talking about festivals before ChriStreama, and what exactly is the, I guess, definition of a festival? How many bands have to be involved to make it a festival?
Wow. I mean, well,
Is
just
there
the,
like
I mean,
a
just
minimum?
the word. I mean, there's a lot of festivals. I mean, there's Renaissance festivals that are.
I think he specifically means music festival.
Music
right?
festival, yeah. For
Uh,
a music
how many
festival.
I'd like to think
bands.
there has to be at least 2 stages.
Okay, so
For sure, yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think one stage with even like 5 bands on
It's
it
a
is just a
concert.
big concert.
Yeah.
And then how many do they, like how long? Because to me, it seems like it has to start during the day and end at night to be a festival.
Or
right?
be like all weekend,
Yeah,
2 or
all
3
weekend.
days.
Yeah,
There are those festivals too.
So is there
Yeah,
any-
but it's got to be like, I'd say minimum 10 bands, right?
Okay.
10 was the number that I was thinking too. What do you think, Butler? 10 bands?
I would like to say at least 10.
At
Yeah.
least. Okay.
That's 5 for each stage.
That would be on the low end, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the business reason behind a festival is just like when comedians get together, like when the kings of comedy, where they all have power and they all have a following, and they
Right.
realize
Yeah.
like, hey, if we get together, we could do arenas.
And charge way more.
Yeah,
we can
then-
just dominate.
and we could use combine all our audience, and then we can do arenas instead of just like House of Blues or
Right,
whatever.
sell more tickets.
And I feel
yeah.
like they might be a little easier too because they're shorter sets.
That's true.
Yeah. So then it's like you go there. So it's like when they do
Easier
big-
for the band.
Sell more
Correct, yeah,
tickets
correct.
and have a lower like workload, basically. Yeah.
Other people in the Twitch chat room, Jackal said that he would like to weigh in on it being an all-day thing.
Yeah.
Like a festival's more an all-day thing. Like
Okay.
concert is more evening. Does that?
Yeah, that-
Yeah.
Would
All
we
right,
all
all
agree
right,
with that?
yeah.
So does it have to be outside?
I don't. Ooh.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you ever been to an indoor festival?
No, I'm just going. I've
Yeah,
been to a festival in an amphitheater, like Lollapalooza back.
Yeah.
Is that considered a?
No, I think
That's
it's.
technically still outside.
I think it's got to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
outside.
yeah,
Well, there was when I went to Bonnaroo though, there was tons of tents and like they have the main stages and then they have tons of little tents. I mean, those are technically indoors, but they're still in
Yeah,
tents.
I think it's got to be in a large
Yeah.
area.
So-
So like a Tinkerfield here in Orlando.
So
Yeah.
Bonnaroo, was that the original or one of the original festivals that led into like South by Southwest and stuff?
I don't
or
think
not?
I
so,
would say
no.
Lollapalooza was well before that.
Yeah.
Okay, Lollapalooza. Yeah,
Well, you
I
had
don't know, I was a
Lilith
kid.
Fair.
Lilith Fair. You had
Woodstocks.
What
Yeah,
was
yeah.
what was Ozzy's big one?
Ozfest.
Ozfest. That was huge. That actually broke a lot of bands.
And
you
of
know?
course, like the Warped Tour and stuff like
Yeah.
there's traveling.
Was there a hip hop counterpart?
What about Family Values? Remember when they did
Family Values was
the
dope.
tour?
Yeah, Family Values was awesome.
I wanted to go to that. Never.
So
never got to.
Bonnaroo, who played at Bonnaroo?
Well, it all
Well, it
depends.
depends which
Yeah,
year.
it
Okay.
changes.
But what kind of style?
so-
all over the place.
It used
Yeah.
to be a completely dedicated hippie festival, and it was run by a company called Superfly. And then it got bought out by larger conglomerates where larger artists started showing up. You'd start seeing like Kanye and crap like that.
So but when you get your festival pass for Bonnaroo, you get there, and I'm sure there's vendor crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
like and they make their money with a big corporate sponsor, so it's like the Verizon wireless guys dancing around, they're giving out.
They got all
Well, the
that.
funny thing is, it's not like that at all with Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo, when I went, it was actually, there are some vendors for food and drinks, but all the merchandise, it's all in this place called Shakedown Street, which is all homemade goods, and people's making their own shirts, selling stuff. It's a massive like marketplace in the middle of the camp area.
With local locals and
With
then
locals,
people,
yeah, and all, like, the
so
hippies
they
selling
try to
their
make it
wares.
more hippie-ish than
Yeah, and
corporate. right?
Bonnaroo, it feels like any of the more commercial images you see of what they're doing. They are very mindful of the amount of advertising they have. It seems very low. It seems like they're mindful of that. It seems like they want it to look like an experience, not a corporate grab.
Yeah.
You know?
Warped Tour started that way.
Yeah.
And then it slowly turned into corporation crazy.
I don't even remember original Warp Tours. I remember the last one I went to with Andrea, which would have been like 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
And it was miserable.
Oh yeah, I went to the very
always in the
last
summer,
one.
man.
I mean,
I
we
feel
were.
like it's not for adults. At least Warped Tour and stuff.
I mean, I got to see Transplants
harder.
live, which
It was great. Yeah, I was at that one.
I mean, that was like one of those things that like that was a bucket list for me because I really, really, really enjoyed that
I
band.
say adults. I mean, like older. Like if you're, when you're in 35, 40s, I feel
Yeah.
like you've aged out of fests.
I didn't think I had, but when I got there, it was pretty apparent after about an hour that
Let me tell you,
I
the
was
very last Warped Tour at high noon, I jumped into a skank pit for Real Big Fish, and I gassed out after one song, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm about done here. I need to go grab a water.
Yeah, I mean, we like. I remember we walked,
August.
We walked over to one stage and saw the band, May. Mm-hmm. We saw the band May. Then we saw Transplants, and then we went back and saw one other band that I really wanted to see. Can't remember what it was. Must not have meant that much. And we were so tired from just standing in the sun.
It's so bad.
That I think if the tickets hadn't been free, I would have effectively have paid like $75 for 3 bands.
But they started having like the water slides and the misting tents because people were dying
Passing
out there.
Yeah. I almost died at Bonnaroo. I almost passed out at it was a Jack Johnson concert when he was playing.
How do you pass out at Jack Johnson?
From heat stroke and no hydration. I was
thought you
completely
ate too
dehydrated.
many banana pancakes.
Yeah. Well, everybody's drunk on drugs too.
Oh, yeah.
You're hot. You're
Super dehydrated.
Yeah. And then, and so
Jack Johnson actually looks like Curious George. I know he did the music for the movie, but if you look at him, he looks like a small monkey that would get trapped in a department store and want his.
So biggest American festival now, well, obviously not now, but I mean like currently, let's say, is it South by Southwest
Or Coachella.
Well,
do you have,
or Burning Man.
Yeah, do you have to count
Burning Man? Though I don't really put under the category of festival.
It's a festival, Burning Man Festival.
Yeah, but
It
no
is.
music festival.
They have music.
They have music.
They have music,
It's
but
DJs and stuff.
But I feel like it's more like South by Southwest, Coachella, Bonnaroo, music festivals. Burning Man, like our buddy Logic Man Andy, he's gone to Burning Man every year for whatever.
Yeah, he skydives
and
in,
skydives
hangs
in.
out.
And there's the art element, and then like the building
The communal
community.
family.
There is music,
Yeah.
but there's other bunch of weird things. There's like they set up a Mad Max, like everybody's doing their art and stuff. So I feel like there's music involved with that, but I would put it in a different category
That's
of
more.
music.
That's more of
Arts
a
and music festival.
I would
Yeah.
put I would take Burning Man out of our music festival thing, and
Okay.
I would make it more I would make it like more of a art installation festival. It's closer to Fringe Festival than it is
Yes,
a music
yeah,
festival.
Okay, I agree with that.
You know, like
There's
'cause
performance.
I like the
There's
sculptures.
Because
performance
the grand
art.
finale is burning all these artworks. So yeah, that makes sense.
I like
Okay.
the sculptures and the vehicles that they make, and I like the don't leave anything and don't destroy the venue aspects of that.
So there's obviously anytime you can gather that many people, like it raises the eyebrows of people that want to make money, right? Because you're like, oh my God, there's like, how many people go to Burning Man each year?
It's 100,000 at Bonnaroo.
100,000. So anytime there's 100,000 people somewhere, someone's out there looking like, well, I want to make money, or I want to market to this people, or whatever. And so, but there's a fine line because a lot of these things started up very organically.
Well, like, here's
and
one
then
that-
don't want a bunch of corporations, and they don't want the Verizon wireless cell phone dancing.
I've got one that's very successful, and I'm not making a joke, but the Gathering of the Juggalos, I'm sure, can be a lucrative festival
Yeah.
for for all intents and purposes, a very successful independent band, right?
Yeah.
Oh well,
You got two guys.
You can market lots of vape pens to that demographic. I'm trying to think. Seriously,
I mean, they're making
there's money in vape
Yeah,
pens.
oh
Like,
my God,
If I was a vape company, I would be at the Gathering of the Juggalos, 100%. Right? Like,
Dude, are you crazy?
And then
I'd live there.
like whatever else, like, you know,
I'd partner with them.
But so then with these like festivals, and they get bigger and bigger. Which is the most financially successful? I know
Somebody in the chat room
Probably
said Coachella, or somebody said the Reading Festival.
That's in England though. Yeah, it's massive.
But you see that like on TV, and I don't think we can count that one because we're trying to do North America or at least the U.S. But man, I don't know.
What's the last year before the pandemic?
Gotta be
what was a
Coachella.
ticket to? Is Coachella a weekend? The whole
Yes.
yeah. So what's a?
It's usually 2 weekends.
So 2 weekends Coachella ticket. What does that cost? Because I'm trying to put together how much.
Probably $250 a day, maybe.
Because I think Crystal.
Yeah, they had
showed-
different options.
Beyonce was at Coachella. Like,
Because you could do you could do a 1-day ticket. You could do a whole weekend ticket. Type
No, it's
thing.
it's a week. It's this year. It's going to be April 9th through Friday, April 9th through Sunday, April 18th.
Really?
That's a long.
Yeah, it's a long.
No.
Thing,
It's
right?
the 9th through the 11th.
I thought it
and
was
then
the 9th
it's
through
the
the
16th
18th.
through the 18th.
Yeah.
It's just the 3-day weekend.
Oh, it's just
yeah.
the weekends. Okay, gotcha.
I'm surprised.
People would die if it was that long.
Yeah,
Right,
so it's
right,
two.
right.
It's
Seems
two
gonna be hard to
It's
pull
two
off
different weekends. Yeah.
in April of this year, right?
It's April every year. It's
Yeah,
always
that-
around my birthday.
Yeah,
No,
they're not moving.
They canceled it last year.
They canceled. Yeah,
Right, right.
I just seems like by that time. Anyway, I don't know. But so how much money are they making? Because
I'm
I'm
gonna try
always
to find
interested in
that for
money.
you.
Because you have to pay all the bands and the staging and all the stuff. Now there's a ton of sponsorship money. Like you can get.
And a lot of the vendors pay to be there.
Oh yeah.
So
Because with that many people, you for sure
All
you're
right,
charging.
Don't look at the screen. Don't look at the
okay, I
screen.
won't. Yeah.
I got it. Coachella, one of the most popular festivals in the country, grossed blank in 2017.
Gross is different than profited, but still.
Yeah, I
you
tried to find like what it would be net when you're all
What
said
ye-
and
what
done.
year?
2017.
2017 gross. I'm not looking. Probably more than 3 million. 13 million.
114.6 million.
That was
by
off
city
a-
news services,
quite a bit.
100 million?
by city news services in 2019, collectively,
Yeah, I saw this.
Coachella profits $1.4 billion.
Yeah, the profits.
That's got to be the biggest.
Wow!
As I was reading that one, I looked down one and I see what you're reading, and it literally puckered
Wow.
me a touch.
That's crazy.
So that's a lot of money. I mean, that means that's after they paid Beyonce and everything. So they must have. Also, if I was Beyonce, I'd be like, hold on, I'm charging you more for this.
Are you crazy?
Or do they make it easy?
100 million.
Like, have they figured out some sort of recipe to like not only pay these biggest artists in the world, but also maybe make it so easy? Where
You
it's
got to
like,
acquire them, right?
like you only have to do. Although, but I saw Beyonce. Like Crystal watches Beyonce's performance at Coachella, the one with all the band and the pyramid.
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
really impressive.
Yeah, it's
like
cool.
that. Like she practiced for like seemingly
A very
6
long time.
months
Yeah.
straight just for that performance with all the band and the choreography and everything. So
I wonder if that was the same performance when she came here.
probably is.
I haven't
because
watched
if
the
you-
Coachella thing.
I
but-
you
can't
practice-
imagine you would only do that one time.
Right,
It's pretty-
exactly,
it's pretty
yeah,
extravagant.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
at least doing it twice.
Yeah,
You
I,
know,
remember,
like-
I saw her and Jay-Z, and I was like, this is... Because it was mainly just her show featuring Jay-Z,
Yeah.
and she did like a 2-hour show herself.
Don't sleep on rap
And never
acts, man.
stopped.
When Tom and I saw Lil Wayne at the Amway, we were like, "Oh my
So
god!"
what
He
are-
had elevators. He shot him out of a trampoline. He flew over, and then he appeared
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
it's a
And then
big
money,
show, yeah.
then money fell from the ceiling. Nicki Minaj came out, and her ass was knocking her fake glasses off.
So the money made like is probably like the people pay like an insane amount of money to be up front and the VIPs and the meet and greets. Like there's
Right.
probably the rich people around the
And
world.
they charge those vendors a lot
Well,
of
so
money.
what
to be
and then the
there.
regular
now-
ticket is what? What's a weekend?
Hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, you've
Okay.
been. What
Well,
did you pay for your
I think
tickets?
my Bonnaroo ticket was $450 back in 2003.
Wow, so $450.
Oh, there!
bucks,
It's
yeah.
it's an expensive ticket because that one. Remember that one festival we talked about before we started this that I was going to go to Belgium. The ticket for the weekend, just for the weekend, was like $550.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you you know,
so long, so many, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I went to the New Orleans Heritage and Jazz Festival probably 7 years ago, and that was still pricey too. That was still like $225 a ticket, and that was a day.
Let's talk about Fest. You know, Samantha brought up a really successful, very cool festival that we have just right up the road here is in Gainesville called Fest, and it's namely a like an independent punk rock kind of grassroots festival.
Yeah.
And they it seemed like they were relatively successful last year doing virtual venues and stuff like that. I know it was hard for everybody.
Yeah.
But so what are they what you have tickets for this year?
Well, I had it for 2020.
Right.
But you know, they said kind of rain check situation. Like your tickets will still be good next year. So
it's in October, right?
It's always a Halloween weekend.
Okay, yeah. So by that time,
you might be good.
That's
actually,
closer than April. I mean, at least maybe the people, like everybody, will start having access.
At least you get I don't know. I mean, that's better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
no.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
that seems like you start talking about March and April. I'm like, close as hell.
Andrea was laughing about our cruise because like all the you know, we were talking about all the test cruises. They pushed them back again.
Yeah.
That's nutty.
So you can make a lot of money off these
apparently.
festivals. Now, is there any of these that didn't start grassroots that started corporate?
Oh, that's a good
idea.
idea.
iHeart Music Festival.
Yeah, I was going to say iHeart, yeah.
But how financially successful is that for them?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing. I guess maybe it's probably public. Because it seems like what happens is there's some sort of grassroots like movement, and they start this, and then
Yeah, but now the industry knows how lucrative these festivals are, so now they're all pretty much corporate.
But I remember when they tried to do a festival here, we were on the radio at the time, and some like British guy who started festivals in over in Europe came over here and wanted to do a festival at the Citrus Bowl back before, I think it was before his damn.
It's the guy that owns the Earl of Sandwich, the guy that you love his sandwich. Yeah, that same guy.
He tried to start
Orlando
a festival
Calling.
and it bombed.
Yeah, Orlando Calling.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that same guy
So
that I've met owns Earl of Sandwich. He's got the one out of Disney Springs.
And he paid the money for bands and stuff.
Kid Rock, Kiss.
There was a couple.
Tom Petty.
I mean, there's the Sanford Porch Festival. I mean,
Yeah,
there
but
are
that started
still, there's-
grassroots.
That's what I'm saying. There are still little ones in like communities, I think. But as far as like
Because it's that one that the Orlando Calling showed me that you can't just throw a bunch of money in and make and it's successful because people did not go in that and they stopped it.
And they threw a lot of I mean a disgusting amount of money.
They had a
at
bunch
that.
of boats in the doo-doo pond near the Citrus
Yeah,
Bowl.
they put, like,
They had
mega yachts.
They had yachts in the doo-doo pond, and then that's where all the celebrities and musicians stayed. That was their green room.
Yeah,
because the Citrus Bowl is just bats and
they had mega yachts in this turd bowl, the Citrus Bowl. It hadn't been renovated, and then they had it was like that night. It was like Steve Miller Band and Kid Rock with bats. I mean, like that's a nightmare to me. Like that. Like if
is
you
it
ask,
the bands? What is it? What's the draw?
yeah, you got to have good artists.
Yeah. And then, but is that it? Because I feel like
because that's the only draw to go to a music festival.
Because I feel like even the Orlando Calling, it wasn't necessarily the artist they put together that was the failure. It was a variety of things. It was like maybe the artists weren't exactly put together the right way, or the venue mixed with what. It was something beyond. Because if it's just the artist, then I feel like any corporation could start a music festival.
Okay, do you want to know the bands?
Yeah.
I got the official lineup.
Okay.
From Orlando Calling.
It wasn't horrible.
It wasn't. On Saturday, November 12th, you had the Killers, the Raconteurs, the Pixies, the Avett Brothers.
Yeah, but here's the thing,
huge
right?
artists.
I think if I remember correctly, I believe
changed.
the Orlando
OAR.
Calling tried to do it somewhat like Fest, where it was set up where there were different venues downtown. It wasn't just one venue.
No,
right?
this was only the Citrus Bowl.
This was the Citrus Bowl.
Okay, then what was the one where they
This is
did
very a heady
different
lineup.
venues downtown? What was that one called?
Because
they tried to do another one.
Yeah, there was another one where it was different venue. I know what you're talking about. I forgot. But the Orlando
And
Calling,
that's why that flopped, because they would have like all the good bands in one venue and
it's
then a
too
bunch
far,
of crap. Yeah.
This Orlando Calling, there was like 2 stages inside the Citrus Bowl and maybe a one on the outside. You know, they have a lot of property
we should
there.
talk to is the Supervillains. They're on this list. And they played this. They're the last band listed for the second day, Sunday, November 13th.
There's a lot of good people on that list.
The Killers, Raconteurs, Pixies, Avett Brothers, The Roots, who I would love to see. OAR, I
Buddy
would not
Gad
like to
Warren.
see. Iron and Wine, Pete Yorn.
I'm gonna skip over Gogo Bordello.
Go-Go, yeah, I love those guys. Gogol Bordello, Gavin DeGraw, Drive By Truckers, Dr. Dog, Lucera, I would like to see. Let's
Robert
see.
Randolph is fire.
Yeah, Robert Randolph is very, very good. Bob Seger, Silver Bullet Band, Kid Rock, and Twisted Brown Tucker. I don't know who that is. Blake Shelton, Doobie Brothers, Dwight Yoakam, Buddy Guy, Warren Haynes Band, Chris Isaac, Brandy Carlisle. We mentioned Robert Randolph and the Family Band, Flatlanders, Lost Lonely Boys, Blues Traveler, Michelle Branch.
So it's
and
not
Supervillains.
bad artists.
No.
You know, the Avett Brothers are there. I mean, this is before they blew. I mean, could you imagine now they could do it themselves? But
But yeah, I don't think
I think they had too much of like they have a handful of really good people, and then they sprinkled in a bunch of oldies.
Yeah,
where it's
they're-
like a lot of those old people aren't going out to the music.
That's
festival.
almost like every music festival I've ever been to. It's like a handful of great headliners, then all these little acts that you catch before the headliners. You know, it's just
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
trailer to the greatness.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like what's the key to putting together a really good music festival and it becoming good? And I think that's hard to answer. And it's like there's a grassroots element of like, and I think anytime a corporation just comes in and just tries to throw money at it, it's probably hard for them to do it.
Oh, yeah.
If not, they were, because look how much Coachella makes. Like, and these big festivals make. I mean, it's $1 billion in profit organization. So for sure, if you had the money, I mean, if you're like, all right, I've got a couple $100 million to put on a festival, if I'm going to make $1 billion, that's a no-brainer, but probably hard to emulate and draw that many people. Even if you do get Beyonce, and so, you know, if it's not cool or people don't think it's cool. That's why I think like Bonnaroo, Coachella, it has a vibe.
Now
that
they've
it's
made a
cool.
name for
Yeah,
themselves.
This
yeah.
is
They're
what they
notorious
say.
now, yeah.
Now, they predict in 2011, so this is a year later, they reported, the Orlando Sentinel reported that Orlando Calling was going to be canceled. And this is what they say. This is what they blamed it on. You tell me if you agree or disagree.
Okay, yeah.
Says the lineup for Orlando Calling was stellar with a deep lineup that most festivals would envy. I disagree with that. Single day tickets were priced high at $100 per day, but if we have learned nothing from this site, it is that fans will shell out cash for more mediocre lineups than this. That leaves us with the venue as the culprit. Sure, you might pay $100, but at a college football stadium in Orlando, not going to happen.
Yeah,
That's what
So
they
it's not
say.
cool.
So location.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
They probably decided to do Orlando. This guy was like a British guy or whatever, because like Orlando, it's got theme parks. Like people will travel, and then it turns out, people will travel from Florida, but they'll go to theme parks whenever they want. You know what I'm saying? They won't go to this Orlando Calling and then decide, you know.
Oh my God, look at the website I'm on. It's called Music Festival Wizard, and it has all of them listed. And there are so many coming up this year. My God.
Really?
It's almost like we didn't have a pandemic.
What are some of the biggest ones?
There's Shiprocked in New Orleans. That's January 18th through the 23rd. You've got Innings Festival. That's in Tempe, Arizona. McDowell Mountain Music Festival. That's in Phoenix, Arizona. Reggae Rise Up. Snowdown. That's in Colorado.
I guess if he did it
Ultra. We forgot about Ultra in Miami.
they're still doing Ultra. I
Oh,
guess if they do it outdoors and tell people to wear masks, I mean, here's the thing: the organizers don't.
All
give
you
a
have to
damn.
do is tell them wear a
They're
mask.
like, I just want your money. Y'all get COVID. Who the hell
Yeah.
cares? But they're like, hey, everybody's wearing masks. And then meanwhile, like they're crunched
Well, just
together.
so you know, this is just for 2021. There are 14 pages of festivals. I can't even go through all of them.
Yeah.
And it could be a situation where they're holding out hope and they might pull it at the last minute, you know.
Yeah. That's true.
A lot of them
Well, it's probably
have
some
done that.
more artists that just haven't backed out, you know, like played it safe.
Well, they got to make money, and also if they're on stage, it's like, well,
They
I'm
don't
not,
care.
I'm not.
They're just like, no meet and greets.
I'm not smooshed in together. I'm up here, like you're 30 feet away from me. There's a barrier.
Do you ever think that we'll get to a point where we'll have a venue, like a virtual venue, and you will go to the venue virtually and consume the concert through a device somewhere?
Maybe we're real far in the future, but I think as soon as everybody, or blah blah blah, vaccination, like a year and a half or whatever, I think people yearn to be together.
I think it's necessary. I think you have to have it. I think you need regular human interaction. You know,
Dude, I started right around Christmas time. I was like, man, I would like to hang out with some of my friends that I haven't seen in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I texted you, never texted me.
I don't know why that.
But
I
you
see
don't
you every
consider
day.
me a friend.
I'm just saying. I was like, well, I really hung out. Just like everybody. It's like you don't really see that many people, and I did start to feel it.
Yeah,
like,
you can.
and normally I don't care, like nor like whatever, busy. But I did start to feel like I rather hang out with anybody. I yearn.
It's when you don't have the option, right?
Yeah. To hang out. Then like all my then like you call your friends. Is the COVID crazy in Miami? And then everybody's like, hey, I'm not really traveling. Or it's like that stinks.
Yeah.
People
I feel
want
it.
to hang out with each other. Human beings are social animals.
Yeah.
You know, it's like and taking that away. But you're right. There could be some sort. Although the
It just
virtual
seems
comedy
so hard, man.
it's a way you consume something you miss. So if you miss the concert experience, watching it on the phone or at home is not the same.
I'm amazed. There's got to be somebody out there, and maybe we can do a little research and see, but somebody's got to be trying to engineer a way for the device interaction that you have when you're at a concert to, you're never going to make it foolproof. It's never going to be the same, but like to have it so you can experience what's happening, but also interact, or clap or.
Yeah, but then it's just like the NBA. There's a bunch of
I know.
iPads and then people are like, "Oh no, some of these people are not even watching. What are they watching?" And, they're seeing people's like America's Funniest Home Video. They got a wall of Zoom.
Well, like
and you're like, "Duh."
WWE does it right. I see it sometimes. If anybody like when they have their wall of humans, if anybody's not doing what they should or watching. They have people monitoring it. They'll just flip to somebody else. Like they have somebody at the. They're like, oh, that guy kill him. All right,
Flip the tile.
Yeah, they're just like, cat, and you see them move it all the time. But anyway,
oh,